This is a HeadGum podcast.
Now on today's program, we kick off the Summer Blockbuster Extravaganza, talking about a real wet fart of a superhero movie. It's X-Men Origins, Wolverine. I'm Andrew Jupin.
Eric Siska.
Steven Sadak.
And Sean Weiner.
And we hate movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. Thank you for tuning in, as always, and thank you for our good buddy. I'll call him the X-Men expert.
I would
Sean
go
Weiner.
Weiner. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, you're flattering me today.
No, Sean Weiner.
Whoa,
no,
wait,
you ain't shit.
Oh,
You could be the expert X-Men executive assistant.
okay.
You just have to get his materials ready for him. That's your job.
Pay my dues.
Well, it was great because I was like, Sean, I know you're so busy. Do you want to come on the show? And he was like, as long as I'm not talking about Transformers.
That's right.
Because that was the last time you were on.
I
and
was burnt out. I
You
was
were
done.
you were pretty upset.
I'm still upset thinking about it, just being back in this room.
Oh, man, you having flashbacks? Car-related flashbacks?
This
is the
Transformer room. I haven't gotten into a truck since that date.
There's a
Oh,
couple
man.
of vehicles in this movie, though. Not many, but a couple.
Yeah.
This was a vehicle
For Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
I just saw you. I saw you taking it, and I stole it from you.
Snatched it right out like candy from a fat guy.
Small programming note. This episode should have come out 2 weeks ago, but I fucked it up. Well, because
Whoa.
the whole thing was like, oh, cool. We'll release this when Deadpool 2 comes out. And then
Right.
I think when they moved Avengers up, they also moved up Deadpool.
Right.
And now this is just coming out when it is. And we're breaking the 10-year rule kind of for nothing, I think.
Everything about this movie is for nothing. And if you don't remember, this was the solo Wolverine outing from 2009, directed by Gavin Hood, who had never given a flying fuck about the X-Men, which is the kind of person you want directing X-Men movies.
Sure.
What did he do? Like rendition?
He directed Sotsi.
Sotsi was his big movie that he won the Academy Award for foreign film, or was nominated.
I think they won. Yeah.
But then also, yes, he directed Rendition, which, speaking of wet farts,
Oh my lord.
that's my review of Rendition.
Ooh,
That was
I
an
didn't know
air
you guys.
conditioning movie.
You guys have a soundboard.
That's right.
We got a butt board.
It's the Michael Winslow soundboard.
Well, no, that's what redacted text sounds like when you use the black marker on redacted text, and you start like, we took the suspect to Guantanamo Bay, and
That was half of Zero Dark 30.
Was it anyone's first time watching this movie?
no, Sean and I saw this together.
That's right.
Wow.
I was wondering
Wow.
which one of you saw it. Andrew kept saying, like, yeah, I saw it. I was like, yeah, I was there.
I saw it in theaters.
You saw it in theaters. You guys saw it in theaters together, or
We
you
tried.
work print buds?
No, we saw it in theaters.
I saw it on a work print,
Oh,
and then
shit.
I saw it tonight. Well, I can't legally say that. I may allegedly I might have. No,
How does it make you feel to have stolen from Rupert Murdoch? To take money out of that man's pocket.
Pretty great. I totally did it. How about that? I downloaded that work print and I watched it. And I got to tell you, we went to the theaters afterwards, like when it actually came out, because my wife's a big Hugh Jackman fan. And I was like, okay, I'll see it again just to see what they did with all those special effects I couldn't see. The answer, not much. Not much. It's actually more interesting to watch this movie in the green screen format, because then you're using your own imagination.
How did it look? Like, was it actually without any of the effect, or
There
were they
I
in
think
like
there were
gray
a
blob?
couple, and then there was like temporary effects, and then there was just big farts of green.
So
And
it's like an improv show. It's like
yeah,
Yeah, it was whose line is it anyway, actually. And the
was-
craziest
yeah.
part was Weapon 11 was played by Colin Mockery.
and it took place entirely in a bar's basement.
The biggest amount of green screen was the smokestack fight at the end. That
There was
mostly
also
green screen.
wires, visible wires.
Yeah, big time.
that's fun.
Yeah, they're pretty much visible in the actual
You know
movie,
what's
too.
going
They
on.
might as well be, dude. This may as well be a canon picture.
It's not very good. This was obviously this is we were doing this because Deadpool 2 came out, et cetera, and yeah, Deadpool
You're
2 came
feeling
out.
so guilty about
I
that.
am. I
Second
feel like
time you're bringing
I
this
feel like
up.
I let people down. No, I just
I'm
wanted-
never going to let you live it down personally.
Why did they release these things earlier? Is it as the expert? Can you
No,
tell
I don't
me
know.
why?
I mean, I get
They moved up
Avengers for sure.
Avengers
Because
and-
of like downloads or pirating or nothing.
No, I think it was just they were like, all right,
Solo,
well, there's
probably.
Yeah.
I think
Oh.
well,
Don't
both
get too
of those
close.
properties were trying to get far away from Solo because then I think it was like Deadpool 2. They were like, oh, cool. Well, Avengers moved. Now we can move. We can both get away from Star Wars as fast as possible.
But it's like they're the same fucking company.
So Wolverine Origins.
oh, sure.
Oh,
3 of those X-Men movies had come out, and the
Two of them were pretty good. One we
the
did an episode on.
franchise was running stale. This is pre-First Class, and they were like, let's finally give everybody what they want, which is more Wolverine, which actually wound up being less Wolverine in this movie than I imagined.
well, he's not Wolverine anymore. Like in the first 2, probably in all 3 of the first X-Men movies, like Wolverine's stocky and gruff and like has the
Hairdo.
characteristic hairdo and all these things. And this one, he's like kind of like lithe and like looking good, and he smiles a lot.
He's
like,
got
he
like
just
long
defies the
floppy
character.
hair in this movie.
Well, he's not the character yet. Like this is the prequel.
All right. So we'll get it. So
He's
this
got
is-
feathered hair. It is the 1970s.
It is.
The only visualization of the 1970s in this
Not
whole
only
movie.
is it the 70s, it's also the 1870s. Oh, actually, also before the 1870s.
It is. It's, I believe we started in 1845
Oh my god!
in the Canadian woods.
When he was just a lad.
And he's like already born a mutant back then.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they're all born.
Well,
mutants.
I was just thinking,
Yeah.
if he's a mutant, maybe Davy Crockett was a mutant that just had a half raccoon head.
Is that the extent of the power?
Yeah, this is as far as I thought it through.
Oh, it's just like when Mario had that raccoon suit.
Yeah, and then the Bruce Davidson character from the first movie, that's just Andrew Jackson.
Okay. So like, what else would be David Crockett? Would he like eat garbage? Is that what else he does?
Is there a face on the raccoon, or is there
Yes.
no face?
No, there definitely has.
That's
to,
terrifying
there's
because they have a terrible sound.
Little side face.
Oh, he's got little raccoon hands too.
Yeah, and this is what scared his enemies, and this is why the frontier bowed before Davy Crockett.
That's why Bowie made that knife. He's like, I gotta cut that thing off his head, man.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's gonna do
Oh
it.
no, I'm going to blow your mind right now. That knife came
that?
out of his hands.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, Bowie Knifeman.
It's kind of like Ryan Reynolds at the end of this movie. Not for nothing.
And who was those guys that went to Oregon? Clark,
Leopold
Lewis,
and Loeb.
Lewis and Clark?
Lewis and Clark.
Yes.
Those
no,
are.
didn't they go
didn't
down
to
a
Oregon.
river?
They're down. Aren't they in the South? I don't know American history.
I don't care about explorers.
They went to the West Coast, right? Anyway,
They went to Cali.
all those guys are mutants.
Okay.
That's how they could live out there.
All the pioneers that lived were
Yeah.
mutants.
Pocahontas was a mutant.
Yeah.
Well, that we know.
Was that that was a real person? Right?
Yeah.
And
she
in the Disney version of Pocahontas, one of her like woodland animal friends is a little raccoon. that
Yeah,
goes-
because guess what? Because Davy Crockett got killed, and then that part lived and like scurried off.
David, first of all, I'm pretty sure your timeline's way off on that. I'm almost
Doesn't-
positive about that.
This timeline makes no sense either. So why does that timeline?
All
have
right,
to
that, you saved it. So we open. This is a kind of a 30-second, like a comedy sketch adaptation of Wolverine Origin, the actual comic that came out. That is good, but I don't think you need to. It's a character like he was always a loner and didn't know who he was. That's the way you should have kept it.
Yeah, why is it? Why?
War
why
Bros.
Do we need to like stretch it? But like even War Bros is fine. I don't need to see him as a little kid though.
And is that other little kid supposed to be?
That's
Yeah,
Sabretooth.
Sabretooth. They're bros.
Are they like Amish or something?
No, they're just an old timey
No, I
kid.
know,
And
but
later
they're-
they have long sideburns.
But they're beards. They're beards.
Oh,
They
yeah.
both have beards. Sans mustache, which the Amish shave their mustaches because it was popular thing to do in the German military, and they're pacifists, right? So,
Oh.
so I was wondering if there was any type of Amish connection to these
It's
characters.
a good question. I don't know. Probably not. But no, the dad has that. The fake dad. So yeah,
Right.
like,
No, real or
yeah,
both
it's,
dads.
yeah, yeah.
All
yeah,
dads.
All dads back then had that.
Hey, not all dads, dude.
But yeah, like that was in 2000. They finally came out and were like, everything you wanted to know about Wolverine's origin as a baby in Canada. But
And the answer is, I don't want to know any of that because the only thing interesting about the character is that he doesn't know who he is.
Exactly.
So you take that away, and it's Hugh Jackman and Wolverine we have in this movie.
yes, it's not. Yeah, it's not something I ever wanted to hear about or know about.
Was this true to whatever that comic book was?
Yeah, I mean,
though?
and actually, to the comics' credit, it's actually a good comic book. It's just like a well-told and well-drawn comic. It's
Yeah.
I never read it.
yeah, you're
I'm
fine.
a purist. I was like, I don't want it. I'll pretend in my world that didn't exist.
When did that
Makes
comic-
total sense to me.
When did that come out?
The year 2000,
Oh, you just
So the
said
same
that.
year as that first movie.
probably. Yeah, or like 2000, maybe 2001, 2002.
Uh-huh.
But here's one thing and this is from the 90s. I don't like the idea of bone claws. Bone claws make no sense to me.
Bone Claw is ready. Sorry.
Well, so because the reveal is in what, Wolverine 75, I thought? Or
Yeah, yeah.
25? Anyways, that like Magneto pulls the adamantium off of Wolverine in a pretty
Whoa.
awesome way. And he's like, ah, and suddenly he still has his claws. And we all thought that the
Yeah.
claws just were part of the metal.
Right.
But he also turns into feral Wolverine for like 2 years of the comics.
Yeah.
Where every month you get a comic and you read it. It's just this like feral Wolverine going
He's
like,
eating, he's eating garbage.
no, there's no story for like 2 years, but you're still paying $1.75.
Wait, so he was
Wolverine's
just
like-
walking around and they'd be like, what's that guy doing? And he'd be like, rah, rah, rah.
And then it would be to be continued.
There was a 3-issue arc during that time of him up inside the X-Mansion attic eating the insulation, and everyone had to like hit him with a broom.
What is this doing up there? Get out of here!
Oh man, it's just Xavier like mentally pushing a broom against the ceiling.
We have pests.
Oh, it's an old house. You'll have to excuse all the rodents.
Oh no, Logan droppings. Hank, take care of it.
Oh, this is worse than when we had the Batman up there.
Dude, then it's just Beast eating the shit off the floor. I'm a monster.
Yeah, Beast, he definitely eats shit, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Or definitely.
Well, you gotta look at what you're
So he's
doing.
reading Jane Austen and eating shit at the same time.
So listen, you see like dogs sometimes eat droppings of other dogs.
Okay.
Stand to reason
And
that
usually
a
they're
beast would
reading
eat shit.
Dostoevsky when they're doing that.
So yeah, but yeah, the bone claws don't make sense because like usually his claws are shown to be knives, right? Like they're shown to be like very
Yeah.
thin, very like mechanical looking knives. Like
Yeah.
so there's bone under
Yeah,
there.
how are you wedging a bone in that?
So was he born like he was born with the power of healing, right?
Yes.
That's the whole thing. And then
also bone claws.
yeah, exactly. Like what
I got two.
I'm with you. I think it should be just like someone put some Ginsu knives in there.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this guy can heal from anything. Like shove some knives up
Yeah.
there. you
That's
know?
what I mean. Wasn't that the thing?
That was the thing, and then they kind of retconned it when Sean said they didn't like Wolverine 75.
But
And-
like, what? Who is that for? Who was like, oh, of course, bone claws.
Well, I guess
Well,
it's like somewhere new to go with it. I guess.
yeah.
And in the comic, it takes I don't remember how long, but it's like 2 or 3 years. He's like getting adamantium grafted to him,
Yeah.
and then it's not taking, and then it's back to the bone claws.
Oh, man, it's
Every
like a
time he
bad liver
punches somebody-
transplant.
yeah, and then Apocalypse finally is like, okay, I can do this operation.
they could do this operation for you.
Dude, it's just Apocalypse putting on like a mask in a surgical theater.
So yeah, we're in Canada. There's a very good. So it's just James Howlett, Jimmy Howlett, Logan to his friends. Is sick in bed. His friend Victor is next to him.
Wait. His name is not even Logan.
No,
That's a fake name.
His name. He's got lots.
He's
I-
called Jimmy through
I
this
know
whole
that,
movie.
but that's why I'm asking because I did notice that.
Oh,
I
you mean
did-
the comic equivalent? Is he like Jimmy Howlett in the comics at any point?
I mean that's what comes in this origin story. It was always just Logan. You never knew what his real name was.
Gotcha.
In this
And then it's
movie,
James Jimmy
did-
Howlett, Logan to his friends.
Did they address
my
that he
fault,
just started calling himself Logan in this movie? Did I miss it?
I
They-
kind of missed that too. I
He
think.
picks it up, I think, when she's like D-Force, like chopping down all the trees in Banff.
Oh, I see. He's like, he's trying to get away from Stryker, so he just calls himself Logan. I
Yeah,
guess.
I think because he's under an assumed name, isn't he?
His dad's last name is Logan.
Oh, right, his real dad. So
His
basically,
real
this
dad.
guy comes in,
okay.
Master Howlett, who's a very good, young-looking Hugh Jackman dude. Like he looked a lot like Hugh Jackman.
So much so that you're like, I think that's Hugh Jackman.
He
the
also
first time you
looked-
see him.
He looked like the
Prestige.
dude,
It's not huge Jackman, it's small Jackman.
he looked like that dude Linus Roach who was on Law and Order, but he
Yep.
was also Mr. Wayne in
That's fine.
one of them
That's-
Batman movies.
That's fine. That's fine.
What Wayne?
Thomas.
Thomas. There we go. I just
Thomas,
kept-
Tommy Wayne, Batman to his friend.
Oh, Batman to his friends, of course.
Husband to Martha.
And mother to me.
Mother to Martha.
So,
Who's Martha's mother?
that's
Do
a
we
story.
know that?
That's a 12-issue arc coming out.
Okay.
Martha's mom.
Yeah, dude, and Martha's mom turns out bone claws. It was a crazy time for comics, dude.
What do you think would happen if you
Martha
find
Maneater?
out that I secretly had bone claws? Would you be surprised?
Yes.
Well, you're about the height of what Wolverine is supposed
Wolverine
to
should
be.
be fucking
you're-
Stretch Jackman over there.
Yeah. No, you're perfect to play what Wolverine was originally intended.
Yeah, I gotta hit some weights.
I sometimes get scared looking at you. I was like, oh my God, he's going to eat garbage in front of me.
Oh, you live with me for a year. You pick some things up. So he is the dad comes in. He's like, "Hey, Victor, get out of here!" Like he seems like a hired hand. And then this other guy comes in. He's like, "Oh, your dad's here, Victor. Tell your dad to go home. He's drunk again." They go downstairs. They scuffle. His dad shoots the other dad, and Wolverine, little Jimmy Howlett, comes out. Bone Claws kills Victor's dad, and in his dying words, like, "You were my actual son," or whatever. It's like, wow, that's a lot for three and a half
There's a lot
minutes.
happening.
In 3.5 minutes.
And you have a screaming to the heavens shot.
Oh,
just
dude,
shoved in there.
we are yelling to the heavens so much in this movie, but that little kid trying to do it, that's pretty choice. Also, was it?
No, these bone claws!
Curse these bone claws! See, it should be that's the first time that happens.
I think it's
It- no, it is.
supposed to be,
But
they
does the kid do enough of a what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I think he's just in such a rage.
Right.
Goes through one of them berserker rages.
Now
Because
is that canon that they're like half brothers, or was that created for this movie?
created for this movie.
That's what because
Stupid.
Wikipedia told me that, but you can't trust anything on the internet.
Well, there was always like an older boy at school, like, "Yo, you know that Sabretooth the Wolverine is his son, right?" And then you're like, "Wait, what? Is that in any comic?"
son?
No, like, and it was just one of those like
Sabretooth
things.
is like bigger, and then the Wolverine's like a little smaller. Like
So
came
that
out
makes-
of Wolverine came out of Sabretooth.
Oh, I see.
Just like bad Bronx facts of comic books that you would get.
Wolverine is he's an infant. That's why he's so small.
And you're like, wait, because there was no Wikipedia. You're like, what comic is it? No, don't worry about it. It's his son. And
I
you
got
read
this.
comic-
I got the trade. I'll bring it in tomorrow.
Yo, and Charles Xavier's his mother. You're like, wait, how? Wait, how did that happen?
Trust me, my cousin told me.
Yeah, they figured it out.
He knows somebody who knows Stanley. All right.
No, there's a Wolverine 94. You won't find it. It's off the stage. You don't have it anymore.
I bought it from a guy outside the garden. He's a fucking herb, though. You ain't gonna get that shit no more.
Such a
He ain't there. He got fucking arrested.
But you would only, but that's something that was kind of like a bring the code in tomorrow situation, wherein like you would just get bad comic book information passed on
Sure.
because like nobody knew shit about shit, and like you'd have to like buy comic book cards to
Yeah.
see what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
Was that the purpose of comic book cards, to give you like canon
It,
facts?
it was
sort
a
of,
good way to like catch up and know what the fuck was going on. Because
Oh,
a lot of
interesting.
times, like you can't like jump into this shit.
Yeah.
There's so
No,
much.
no.
So if you have a bunch of cards, they're flashcards. You're just learning all this shit. A lot of it is
That's not
true on
bad.
the back of it. But
Oh, really?
yeah,
They
it'd
were-
be like, oh, PowerPoints, and you're like, oh, okay, so now I know this superhero is stronger than that
Yeah.
superhero,
Right.
and then that's just not the truth. But one time, Charles Oakley told me that Cyclops and Jean Grey were actually brother sisters.
Yo, dude, it's real. It's real happened.
Well, it's
So-
fucking gross, but it's real.
You want to listen to people near Madison Square
Yo,
Garden?
you never
circa
read the
1995.
issue where Nightcrawler runs for mayor?
Rid the city of vandalism and graffiti. So maybe too too much of a tangent, but it brings us back to X-Men.
Thank God.
Sure.
Is that and it connects to the cards. So there were, every year there'd be a different like card set that would come out and you collect them all.
Yeah.
But then slowly but surely you'd get like pervy cards, and there's one like really famous set where it's like you collect like greatest battles ever, or like each individual character, and then there's one set where it's like the X-Men go to the beach.
Oh, dude, the X-Men went to the beach a lot.
Dude, when you're working that kind of job, you need to go on vacation.
And it is just like the swimsuit issue. And it's Wolverine with 3 hot dogs,
which is
on
great.
those claws.
I feel like I've seen that
them up.
somewhere.
Psylocke doing God knows what. It's like,
Just
dude,
stretching.
Just stretching around.
Bro, you see that one card they had where it was like the end of the night and everybody had a bonfire on the beach, and then it was like Storm and Cyclops were at the end of the beach away from the bonfire, and she was fucking sucking his dick. Bro, I saw that. It happened. I'll bring the card in tomorrow. It's
Derek Hopper told me so. John Starks
Jesus.
backs it up.
So this dude's dead.
This dude's dead. Both Victor and Jimmy leave, and this is the beginning of our movie.
And did you guys notice the switch from I don't know how you guys were watching. I was watching on HBO. They totally have the aspect ratio change. So like the first scene of this movie was IMAX.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like a nothing scene, and the only action is like that quick stabbing.
Yeah.
But then when this like action montage happens, it totally goes into letterbox like CinemaScope.
Right when your A-list actors show up.
Yeah, I was like, why did you bother with the camera for that? It looks like garbage.
And this montage is why did 2 Canadians fight the American Civil War? Were they just looking for a good fight?
I mean, I guess
That's kind of the thing, is that they just want to fight in some wars.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when does Wolverine become American?
Oh, I think he just crosses the border a couple times. He had some adventures with Captain America back in the day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
In
Fights
WW2?
Yeah, and the big one.
Yeah. He's in there with them.
But it's like the Civil War,
Yes.
and that's like kind of brief. And then we get a lot of World War I for this montage.
I was very happy to see that Wolverine fought for the Union side at the like. He didn't go down to Canada to fight for the Confederacy.
Yeah. No, there's blue coats all over it.
Thank the Lord.
That's what you're praying for.
You're right. There's a lot of the Great War.
A lot of the Great War, because it's a lot of like, we can have them running around the trenches murdering people, and that's all what Sabretooth is doing.
I think this is when we get our first back-to-back.
Oh, man.
God.
The ass-to-ass of comic book movies. Jesus Christ, is it stupid? And then we go to WW2, and of course that's got to be Normandy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're right there on the boat.
Which you wanted a lot of those boys to be regenerating mutants for that one.
How did no one notice? Like, oh, dude, you know that guy that I saw him get shot in the head 5 times, and he used bone claws to cut off fucking Rommel's head. But he's just a regular guy now.
Just a guy. You know what? He's just a patriot, man. It doesn't matter.
I don't know how it takes until Nam for someone to wise up to these dudes.
Here's my question, though. Did they just skip Korea?
Yeah,
they sat it out.
Yeah, they sat that one out.
They were like, you know what? This is officially just a conflict. Nobody has officially declared war. We're staying out of this one.
They should have shown them fighting for Korea.
Oh man, that would have been great.
They could have single-handedly tipped the scales a little bit.
Or it's like they're getting their picture taken in front of the DMZ.
Yeah, the reason why there's North Korea today is because of Wolverine.
Said so.
Right. And then so we go right to Nam. And you know what? Thank goodness there's this like average orchestration going over everything.
Yeah,
because you'd be getting some CCR otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
Guaranteed, dude. Guaranteed. God. And it's like, so this is where like the story kind of like stops in our little montage here. So we don't see that.
It's a credits montage.
We don't go all the way up to the Gulf, unfortunately. We don't get that far. We stop at Nam and it's like
just hanging out.
yeah, I guess just hanging out. They're like, oh, was this finished? Okay.
It's like Jarhead, but it's just Wolverine and
that movie's boring as sin. My God.
it's not very good.
So yeah, we stop in Nam. They're on a helicopter. Sabretooth is having a lot of fun with a machine gun.
Too much fun.
Too
This
much
is
fun.
Just Animal Mother from Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
just like shooting civilians this entire time.
You think Adam Baldwin saw this movie? He was like, yeah, I already did that. Hey, movies, it's been done. Adam Baldwin did it. Internet toilet Adam Baldwin.
Mr. Baldwin, we will throw you out of this movie theater again. You're ruining it for everyone.
This is the 5th time you've come to see X-Men Origins Wolverine.
If he played Sabretooth, he would have fought for the Confederacy.
It's all about heritage, god damn it.
That would have been cool if Wolverine was on the Union and Sabretooth
Sure,
was the
because
Confederacy.
it doesn't make it's like so basic. Like the idea is that like Sabretooth just likes to kill and he starts just smirking a lot when he's killing, and you're like,
He's getting a taste for it, dude.
Let's do X-Men, but set like as Hateful Eight. Sabretooth's like a Confederate general in this little cabin in the woods. There's trading post, and then Hugh Jackman shows up.
Bishop is the Samuel L. Jackson role. That would be badass. He's from the future. He knows what happens.
That's
Or maybe like the letter he wrote is from from a president in the future. Like,
oh shit, dude, Reagan letter.
he's got a letter from Reagan.
all right, Bishop. Now go back in time. Now, normally I wouldn't trust one of you to do this. If you know what I mean.
I love your feet. They're freaking awesome.
So then it's like we're on the ground. We're like fucking pillaging a village. And wouldn't you know it, Sabretooth starts getting a little rapey.
Yeah, it's implied. It's very implied rape.
Of course it is. He's carrying a Vietnamese woman into a little hut.
And he throws her onto a bed.
Yeah.
And then he decapitates Michael J. Fox, who's against it.
See, they only get in trouble here because they eventually just turn against American soldiers here who are about to torch this village. Probably
They act like that's the problem,
Right?
Right? It's like he's about to. We all see the rape, and we're like, oh, that's the. And the real thing is like he's turning on his troops.
Yeah.
It's like
Priorities, Fox
gotta
Entertainment.
always support the troops, no matter what they do.
You gotta.
So Wolverine's like, that's enough, dude. That is totally enough.
Yep.
And then it's like,
They get sentenced to executed.
oh, and this is great, dude. A good old fashioned execution, like at the stake. Didn't think we were doing that in Vietnam.
But I mean, like, here's the thing: the
Firing
characters,
squad, right?
the characters can regenerate. Let's see them get tore up by these bullets for a little bit.
Not with that
blood.
PG-13 rating.
I guess so, but like, even if he comes back from it, that's still like.
I would think you're correct, Steve. It's just a lot of like we're dipping our toe into, because I think the thing about so like X-Men Origins and then the Wolverine and then Logan, we get progressively violent like as they go on.
Yes.
So I think this one was like, all right, how much can we get away with, kind of like without losing the audience, like because this movie, aside from being bad, like is absent a lot of like the
Blood,
guts. Blood and guts, yes, but also like the playfulish like kind of screenplay from those first 3 movies.
Yes, yeah.
Not as many jokes from Wolverine and whatnot. So I think it's like we're kind of like, all right, like how dark can we make this? And the first thing is like we'll make it violent, but it's all like implied violence.
Yeah.
Which, you know.
Which I mean, I guess it's because of like his scale. I don't know, but like for whatever reason, we see like holes in people throughout the film.
Yeah.
But blood just never emerges from those holes. Like we see skull, but there's just no blood in people's bodies.
He gets shot in the head twice at the end of this movie.
No blood.
And there's nothing.
Yeah, well, that happens in the X2 when he gets shot in the head and the bullet pops out, kind of a thing.
But he like stabs into. I mean, this is spoilering things, but he stabs into people and pulls out a clean blade, which means that like whoever he's stabbing has been baking for long enough, and it's time to eat them.
Or maybe it's like, you know, there's like Teflon on those blades and it just all slides right off, keeping them puppies nice and clean at all times.
Well, yeah, if you're paying for the adamantium, you want to pay for the extra coating. It's a little more expensive.
yeah, you know, but it's like the dealer, you know, he's going to get you like a nice sweet discount.
People say the coating's not real. Let me tell you, it's real.
It's beautiful. Look at the sheen on that.
I talked to John Starks. He said it's real.
So they're in the brig after, I guess, like maybe 3 days of being shot by bullets, I'm going to guess. Like, well, these didn't work.
Well, I think they all, the thing is like they all ran out of ammo. It's like there's no more bullets on this base.
What about some grenades? Like, I would have got creative. Like, this guy's sentenced to death.
Oh, yeah, definitely grenades for sure.
I just love that, like, you know, a guillotine It's right there.
Yeah.
And even if right there.
Well, I mean, like it's around.
It's just off screen.
We were using guillotines in Revolutionary France. Like we
Sure.
could find
The
one.
technology exists.
Yeah.
And even if they would have like come back together, you just take the head, you run it real far away.
Yep.
And you have somebody watch it. You take the body, put it real far away.
I mean,
You
and
have
then
a bunch
you're
of
good.
little like village kids play soccer with it.
Yeah.
How about just do a montage of all these different murder attempts? Like, give me these troops in a jeep running them over and stuff. You know,
Yeah.
do everything. Try it all.
Like a fun one, like a fun montage.
Exactly,
And they're
a
just like,
fun montage.
you know, every time it's like, all right, let's try it. I've got an idea.
They're like tied to railroad tracks
Yes,
and like a train rolls them over.
Sure. 2 helicopters flying in opposite directions.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. They go film a scene on the Twilight Zone movie.
Some napalm is used, maybe. It's
Where
right-
was the
Definitely,
napalm?
Right,
definitely.
it's right there. So,
Right off screen.
Oh man, if Wolverine was just like a skeleton with
Yes.
bone claws, just give me a skeleton with bone claws, then I will accept bone claws.
I could-
Like a skeleton running around in Vietnam.
That'd be pretty cool.
That's a comic book.
there is an
Ghost
excellent,
Rider in Nam.
an excellent Wolverine comic from the later 2000s of Wolverine in a concentration camp.
Really?
How did he find himself there?
I think he was like hanging around with some Romani or something is the idea.
Oh, that fits.
And then like this.
Wait, did he go AWOL from service in
I
World War II?
So I think that's part of it, but like the whole story is like him driving this SS dude mad because he keeps sentencing him to death, and then he sees him later in the camp. Like they bury him, and he's around.
oh,
But
that's
this
kind of
is-
cool.
That's great. And
Yes.
so would Sabretooth being with the Nazis, with, you know, on,
Yes.
on the other side of every war. And
Right.
you realize, like, yeah, they fought in every war, but really it was just like this sibling rivalry thing where, like, and a moralistic thing. And, like, it would have been interesting.
They started all
They're
the
just
wars.
playing games. But
Oh, you
instead
mean
it's
it like
just-
Sabretooth assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand?
Yes, that's the scene I want.
And then
he's
it's like Sabretooth.
here we go again.
Sabretooth like riding in a little Japanese bomber over Pearl Harbor. I'm going to get the Americans involved now.
Hey, you know, Sabretooth's down like getting some beers and stuff. He's like, hey, Hitler, you know what this beer hall needs is a speech.
That can be about anything. Whatever your heart desires, just yell on this table. Also, I guess like because you're right, because that should be the case, because now I think as far as the movie's telling me, this like lifelong rivalry is set off by Wolverine stopping him from raping somebody.
Yeah, they're exactly. They're best buds up until that point, it seems.
They're back to back until that.
Yeah.
And then, when did we all decide that we wanted Danny Huston to be in movies? Because I feel like I should have got a vote, and I would have said no.
It was the Constant Gardener? It was, or what was
the one-
He's
the
in that
Children
Australian-
of Men?
He's in that movie Birth, which I think
Oh,
he's actually
yeah.
good in.
Yeah.
It's just like these, like he's doing some mustache twirling where like I don't need this
the
to be
Australian Guy Pearce movie, which is called
the proposition.
The Proposition.
Proposition.
Yes, he's like the big animalistic brother, and
Yeah.
he's good in that.
He
but-
looks like a great actor.
yes,
You
exactly.
know what I mean? You see him and you're like, oh yeah, and then you're like, oh.
He's not bad. He's just like, oh, it's Danny Huston.
Well, he's
Okay.
like, you know, he's third billed in the Houston Hollywood dynasty. I mean, that's a tough order,
Right. It's
You
like
know.
Stephen Baldwin or something.
but not quite Daniel Baldwin, and certainly not Adam Baldwin.
I think Danny Huston plays the same character in Wonder Woman. And you're like, oh right, it's Danny Huston again.
And that's another good example of him farting through
it's just
a
like,
comic book movie.
okay, sure, Danny Huston. Like he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't do
Brian
anything
Cox
here.
wanted to be this character again. Just give him a jet black fucking wig, dude. Give Brian Cox a Beetle wig. I'm fine with it.
Just a shaggy mop.
Like what you got to do, I think, though, is like CGI out some of that chin.
Sure.
'Cause then-
Reduce the chin.
Because you could just like, dye his hair black, put it back, get some of that digitally removed chin,
Yeah.
and then he just looks like Hannibal Lecter in Manhunter again.
Yeah.
Because he was like kind of olderish looking in that movie too, like not as old as Anthony Hopkins is in Silence and so on, but like, I'd
nothing-
buy it.
There's nothing as good as there's no answers for you that way, Wolverine.
Exactly.
In this movie, which is what you want.
Because it's certainly not coming out of Danny Huston. Oh, I guess we should mention he's playing Colonel Stryker.
The same character, yeah.
He walks in and he's like, I got a deal for you guys. You guys want to fight for your country? they've just murdered commanding officers. He's
Yeah.
like, you guys want out of this prison?
Well, because he knows that these dudes will do anything. They'll do whatever it takes. Because part of his sales pitch is like, no oversight, no rules. And he's like smiling the whole time because he's like, I know these weird fuckers are going to love this. I'm so excited for the genocide.
And the next thing we know, they're part of what's called Team X, sort of,
Do they actually say Team X in this?
Maybe not.
I
They
know.
don't.
But it's just like Strikers. They're part of Strikers Boys.
Right.
And
Oh, the
that's
Striker Boys.
And that's a real thing in the comics. Like, there's
Yeah.
a group of like,
And it's
And how
pretty
is-
close to this team where it's Wolverine, Sabretooth, this dude named Maverick, who here is named Agent Zero.
Which Agent Zero has also been like Agent Zero at some point.
Yes,
right?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not just like a made up thing.
So
Yeah.
X-Men is Charles Xavier.
Uh-huh.
X-Team is William Stryker.
yeah,
And X-Force is Deadpool?
is Cable's team.
Okay.
which
This is-
Deadpool is
right.
Part of
part
later.
of.
Yeah, later
This
on.
is very confusing. Why is everyone using X?
It's the X gene, Eric. That's what's
Really?
inside of mutants. Yeah, it just so happens Charles Xavier's name is Xavier, and he's got the X gene.
Right.
which is kind of like, I'm a big fan of Arsenal, and for a long time their coach was named Arsene Wenger. I mean, that just happened. It actually just
Sometimes
happened.
that just happens. So, but they're just like a Wet Works Black Ops kind of team, and they're taking down some like African drug dealer. It seems like in the
Sure.
I believe
Nigerian.
these are blood
Nigerian.
diamonds.
These are blood diamonds.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So yeah, Wade Wilson is a part of this. This is Ryan Reynolds first playing technically Deadpool, but not really.
They should rescue that diamond girl in this or something.
Oh yeah,
Right,
Makes sense.
she is a blood diamond.
They're trying to cut her fingers off like the whole
Oh
time,
yeah, that'd be great.
piece by piece.
That would be pretty great. Is now Steve, Sean and I were talking about this off the air. Is that the character that January Jones plays?
That is Emma Frost, but then they sort of retconned it out because it didn't make any sense.
Right. Well, a lot of this movie doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
Also on this team, you can tell this movie came out in 2009 because Dominic Monaghan is in a feature film.
It was so surprising to me.
Yeah.
a full grown, full length.
Full-grown, like-
didn't use any digital size.
This
thing.
is like post LOTR, but like this is like prime Lost era, so he was like very big.
He should have played Wolverine. He's like a little
He's
dude.
totally
Yes.
short enough. Do you just get him to like bulk out a little bit? I could totally see that
The
happening.
perfect actor for Wolverine is a young taxi.
Danny DeVito.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually who he should
Right.
be. That's what he's supposed to be.
my bone claws.
wait, no. Danny DeVito as Sabretooth, and then as his baby Wolverine, Jason Alexander.
yes.
Because, it's father and son.
And then Christopher Lloyd is Sabretooth.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that'd be
Yes.
fucking great.
It's all. I mean,
Prevented me from having fun and numb. Oh man. Also on this team, Will.i.am for some
Oh
reason.
boy, that
Again,
was a
dating.
mistake. That was such a mistake. Like, it's a movie. Don't put him in the movie.
No.
Don't put him in the movie. You know what? He wants to do like a song for Wolverine.
Yeah,
no.
Not so fast.
Just again,
So who's like? What are the worst? Like the worst X-Men casting are like Vinnie Jones as a Juggernaut.
Yep,
Or
that's
Will.i.am as whatever that character is. in
John
this movie.
Wraith
John
John
Wraith,
Wraith.
it's basically he's just like Black Nightcrawler
with a
That's
nice
this
hat,
dude.
with a fun hat.
Well, I looked up his picture on Wikipedia and the comic drawing that they have, which like the resolution isn't that great,
Yeah.
but like he totally just looks like Macho Man Randy Savage. Like he's got the hat, he's got the sunglasses, it's
Sure.
all there.
I think he's
Macho
wearing,
Man Randy Savage was a really big fan of John Wraith.
That might be true.
Ooh, yeah, he's unknown, but I love him. I got a tattoo of him. That's the thing, dude. I find this fascinating because, like, I dabble in X-Men. I watch
Sure.
most of my knowledge comes from that Fox cartoon
Sure.
and these movies. But I love anybody who's like, my favorite X-Men character is Blob. And
Yeah.
it's just like somebody you've never fucking heard of. And it's like that person's taken it to the limit. It's like, oh yeah, I love John Wraith. Here's my John Wraith tattoo. I have all these like issues of an arc of his.
there was a guy in White Plains. There was a dingy White Plains comic book store in
a
New
city
York,
just north of New York City.
who
I know
called him.
exactly the place you're talking
And you
about.
know who I'm about to talk about, don't you?
No, I don't.
The comic book seller called himself Bishop, and he was just kind of a.
right.
No.
He was.
I haven't thought about Bishop in years. I know the exact comic book
He was
shop.
just kind of a fat black guy with like dreads, and he was just like, "Yeah, my name's Bishop." Everybody called him Bishop.
It's his name.
And you'd be in that comic book store, and dudes
Are
would
you
walk
from
in.
the future?
He'd be like, "Hey, Bishop, is the Magic tournament happening?" And he'd just be like, "In the back, guys." It was awesome.
Just naming yourself after an obscure X-Men? Is that the
Yeah,
idea?
dude,
You know,
live that life. Like
So-
that's the next step is living that life.
right.
Why this should have happened with Star Wars fans? Like, why couldn't I should have changed my name to IG88B? You know, his brother.
I mean,
Oh,
that-
B for brother.
No. There's IG88AB, and I think there might have been a C.
IG88M for his mother. Come on.
Oh, your mother's also IG88M.
And they stop fighting.
Just two robots hugging.
Yeah.
So they go on this mission. We do see Deadpool, who is, I mean, and it's Ryan Reynolds. It's like it's a bad screenplay.
At this point, they're just calling him Wade Wilson.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
but he's still kind of like the character. I had
Yes.
forgotten that he was actually the Deadpool character.
I mean, it's the
like,
same
I thought
thing.
they just didn't bother writing him.
That was
way,
my
but he was-
recollection
yeah.
too, but it's
no, he's wisecracking and having
Yeah.
fun.
So and Deadpool, of course, is like the character who like is everybody's favorite character,
Yes,
which is
yeah.
irritating. My favorite character was Gambit, which we'll get to that later because this movie takes a large shit on my face.
Oh, totally.
How have they not made a Gambit movie yet?
Lord knows they've
great
been
character.
trying.
That's all anyone. I remember. I was not a comic book guy in the '90s, but I remember distinctly Wolverine, Gambit, or fuck off. That was the list. That was
That
the
is
list.
a T-shirt that I would wear.
He's the Pepe Le Pew of the X universe.
Once I get married, finally, and then I know that I don't have to ever worry about that again. Wolverine, Gambit, or fuck off is a T-shirt.
I'm surprised that's not a T-shirt. Also, those rules applied for that X-Men arcade game
Oh
Yeah.
because they were the most fun to play as.
Yeah.
Gambit wasn't in that X-Men.
Oh, he
movie.
wasn't.
Oh my
It was
God.
Wolverine, Colossus.
Wait a
Cyclops.
second.
I think I had. You know what it is? It wasn't the arcade game. I think I had
the
some
fighting
like,
game.
You had a fighting game, like a
Oh no, the Super Nintendo game.
No, there was a GameCube game.
This-
Where
this-
you kind of, it was one of those like you were operating like multiple X-Men at a time,
gotcha.
like walking.
Oh,
through-
X-Men Destiny.
I don't remember what it was called,
That's
but I
probably
think
X-Men
on that it was a lot of fun playing
I thought
as
maybe
Gambit.
it was like a bear, like the Berenstein, Bear.
Oh, in
universe.
some universes, Gambit was in the
Yes.
arcade tower.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Who was it? So sorry, but it was Dazzler, Nightcrawler,
Cyclops,
Colossus,
Cyclops.
and Storm.
and Storm.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
like
And
the classic.
Wolverine.
And Wolverine.
And
yes.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
So
Dazzler, by the way. Jesus Christ.
Long story
Yeah.
short, Wade Wilson is, and like the problem also is like they do a decent job of sort of setting up people's powers, but not really. Like you don't know what Wade Wilson's powers are. Like he just uses his swords really fast and stupidly.
But so, because in this movie they like ruin all that by making him Weapon 11 and
Yes.
whatnot. But like, so like, what is like the comic translation of what his powers
It's
are?
just healing factor.
It's
Like,
just healing.
just healing factor. yeah.
Okay, so it's nothing about like reflexes, which is why he can do all that sword shit.
No.
He's just
he's
good
a
at-
well trained whatever.
He's good at swordery.
Yeah.
But like, isn't every X-Men's like don't they all have like healing powers? Like, what is? It's like some people have healing powers and laser eyes.
Yeah, you can get a little bit of both.
It just seems crazy to me. They're like all these characters is like, yeah, I can heal.
Well, I mean,
Well,
that-
what can you do, Deadpool? Well, I can heal.
well, it was Wolverine first, and then everybody else kind of stole it.
There's not
Wait,
a
so
lot
it's
of
like-
it though, is there?
No, it's
There's
just
not that
Wolverine.
much.
Wolverine, Sabretooth.
There's way more telekinesis than
Yeah, a
there's-
lot of telekinesis.
Everybody
big
can move
time.
shit.
Or you can let your power, because that's like Dominic Monaghan's character. He like manipulates electricity and shit.
Sure.
Or something.
I
But,
guess
like,
with his mind.
Agent
Question.
Zero just kind of does a bunch of X-Men jumps though. Like it's like swoop, swoop, swoop.
That's it's like marksmanship plus jumping.
Yeah,
But if you could shoot that guy in the head,
yeah.
is that?
What do you mean, the guy with the healing power?
No, a guy with not healing.
Oh yeah,
power.
no, he should be dead.
he should.
He should be dead, yes.
Okay.
He does die in the movie.
Yeah, but no one dies in comic books, right?
That's true.
They introduce these characters so quickly
Yeah.
before. I mean, this is before we get to Vietnam, but like, and it's like it's insane. Or sorry, before we get to Nigeria.
Yeah.
But like they introduce something. We're just on the plane. It's not like we're part of the new team. Who are these guys? It's like we've known each other for years and we're making inside jokes. And I'm like, whoa, movie.
Everybody's tired of each other already. I'm like, I didn't even meet these guys
And
yet.
there's the guy that's gonna be Blob. Is also there.
Fred Dukes, man.
Fred Dukes, who
Kevin Durand.
another lost castaway making his way in this movie, and so he's just kind of like
Indestructible.
tough.
I think it's like the Blob's power is he's indestructible. That's why he puts his arm in that thing in the tank.
in the cannon, right.
And it
Right.
explodes.
Which was that's kind of a cool thing.
So he'll live forever. Like,
Yeah,
like the world will end and he'll be sitting outside the gates of heaven.
No, dude, that guy's contracting adult onset diabetes.
But he's indestructible.
But he'll die, and then his body will just be indestructible.
Right, he won't
The soul
rot.
will be
that's
gone.
pretty cool. Like, let's say the Earth ends, everything ends, and then it's just the Blob floating through the universe. That's it.
That's probably some obscure fucking Marvel space comic, dude. Galactic Soul. Or the Blob's Galactic Soul.
Tweet me that issue.
So yeah, I mean, like this goes on. We find out that Stryker is after a rock that contains adamantium. He orders the tribe to be killed, or like the whole gang, or whatever you want to call it. The village is going to be burned down, and everyone's going to get murdered. Sabretooth is super excited about that. Wolverine says no. And then that's kind of how the group breaks up. And everyone's allowed to leave this fucking Black Ops group, I
He
guess.
leaves the band first. He's like, I'm out of the band. And
I
then
see.
as he's walking away, you see on the face of everybody else, like, well, if Justin Timberlake leaves this band, man, NSYNC gets no more.
Yeah. Just go, Timberlake. We don't need you. Just
We'll
get
do
outta
this
here.
on our own.
Yeah. Good luck with a solo album, fuckface.
Do you think they auditioned other people in NSYNC? They must have, right? They would have been like, we're in trouble here.
They were desperately trying to do something.
For
I think
NSYNC or the X team.
a little bit of both.
I think that team was like fine, but then it's weird though because like the movie kind of insinuates that Wolverine's exit is what broke up the band.
It is,
because
but
the next thing we know, it's
a non-discriminate amount of time passes again. Like, so we're in Vietnam, a non-discriminate amount of time passes. We're in this Team X thing, a non-discriminate amount of time passes again.
at a carnival.
At some point, we are told 6 years later. When does that come in? I think
at this
it's
point.
so. This
What's
is
the point of saying 6 years later if no one knows where you are?
exactly. But I think so. This is we cut to 6 years later, and now this is where Sabretooth is going around murdering everybody from the team for some reason.
Which would be a cool movie. Like, if that is the movie, like that's the shape of the movie, that's fun.
Yeah, give me a
Like,
photo, like an Academy photo of X Team, and everyone's being scratched off of
a
it.
weird like
Totally.
reverse Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, like, if to do that, you just do a lot more Team X in the beginning, and just one by one, everyone kind of dies.
Yeah.
because then like you could theoretically have like stakes in this
And
movie.
characters
you
supposed to,
care
like,
about.
And then at the end, Sabretooth becomes the sole inheritor of the Hellfish Bonanza.
Oh, you got the Tontine.
Oh man, that dude, a fucking mutant-led tontine. That'd be pretty cool.
So he meets Dominic Monaghan, who's like running or is a circus freak, which is, it's good work if you can get it.
It is, and it's also great because
He's got a great little pad here. This little shack he's living
Pretty
in.
hip.
it's a
Yeah,
sick
it's great.
fuck shack, dude. It's not bad, but also it's kind of weird because on the one hand it's hip, but on the other hand it's just filled with kids' toys.
Yeah.
and he's like walking around like powering them all with his mind, and you're like, man, how many fucking twist up monkeys do you need? It's kind of weird. It's like a little boy's room.
He's also like doing this weird thing of like playing with like turning on the lights, turning off the lights all the time. But it's like, first of all, that's his day job. Then he goes home and like, it's kind of like, did we stop and think? Because this movie's filled with like your first idea, like, yeah, let's run with it. And it's always like, well, would you really be that fascinated with being able to turn on a fucking light bulb and do that all day and all night for the rest of eternity?
Exactly. Like, I mean, I guess it's the definition of like do what you love, but like, what a bad career.
I
Like,
just always loved light bulbs, man. I just wanted to being around light bulbs. That's
turning
it.
them on, turning them off.
Bringing the light, putting it away.
It's kind of great because like his gag
Hey,
at
can you
the
turn on air? I can turn on air conditioning, but I prefer light bulbs.
yes, it's technically all electricity, but light bulbs are the most fun. Wouldn't you agree, Pippin? Or was he Pippin?
I think he might have been Pippin. It might have been Mary.
Oh, Mary. Yeah.
So he's just doing it to like get $1 off some guy passing by trying to do a carnival game.
Yeah. Well, I
There seems like there could be a better. I don't know how you would make it more profitable, but there's got to be something better you could do.
Go
with
to
that
a
power.
fucking casino and like rig the machine or something, right? You're the master of electricity or something.
Yeah,
I think he's depressed.
Oh yeah, just me and me light bulbs.
So Sabretooth murders him, and it's actually the funniest part of this movie, a total accidentally hilarious thing. They do like a I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily a newspaper like spinning in a circle, but like someone sees a newspaper and it's a picture of him and it just says circus freak murdered.
My obituary one day.
It's just like, man, how about, local carnival employee or so, and also like, why is that
Front page news?
Yeah, exactly.
That happens all the time. Circus freaks get murdered.
That's part of the job, and they
Suspicious
all
death.
know it. They all know it. Every one of those circus freaks, it's presumed a suspicious death.
He was depressed. He just got into a line of work that would eventually lead to his death.
And then he turned off his own light bulb.
Now, Eric, were you? We can talk about Sabretooth a little bit here. Were you as because this is your hobby horse? Is blonde comic book characters robbed of their beautiful blonde hair? This is also another one, Sabretooth.
Sabretooth is blonde?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
He's a famous blonde.
Wow. Now
It's what they kind of get right about the character in that first X-Men where he's played by a professional wrestler nobody remembers.
And he's
Maine.
dressed up like the lead singer of Metallica.
Yeah, he kind of looks like James Hetfield. Absolutely.
But yeah, no, that's a disgrace, man.
He had a real arena rock look to him. Like he just had like a mane of wild blonde
Because they
hair.
were like, oh, it's cool because like he's big, and like that's kind of something that you miss in this portrayal. It's just Liev Schreiber, who's kind of the same size, or even probably shorter than Hugh Jackman, which is not really right,
Sean, do you want to talk about the costuming mishap for this movie?
It turns out that it wasn't as bad as I thought, but apparently initially when he got the role, they put Liev Schreiber in a muscle suit, like similar to, I guess Vinnie Jones also got put in that same muscle suit in when he played the Juggernaut. And he's like in that suit and he's looking at like the perfection of physique and man that is Hugh Jackman, and he's like, I can do this. Can I just get a couple months to work out? And so like Hugh Jackman starts like working him out, and they're
become buddies.
They become best buds,
Back to back
buds.
Yeah, I mean that's unfortunate. Like man, do you think the reason why Liev Schreiber wasn't into it was because the suit still smelled like Vinnie Jones?
Oh, that could be.
Come on, you got this suit here. It smells like Vinnie Jones, guys.
You want me to perform smelling like Snatch? I'm referring to Vinnie Jones, star of Snatch, Vinnie Jones.
It smells like Boddingtons. Moving right along, Wolverine is now doing that thing that everyone does in these X-Men movies, which is get a nice, cool maintenance job in some way, shape, or form. See Magneto in X-Men Apocalypse.
Well, that's how you go into hiding, man, because it's just like you get that job and you can like kind of fly under the radar.
Sure.
Nobody's asking questions. As long as you're working hard, you only take like your single hour for lunch. You don't fuck with anybody. Nobody gives a shit. You're just a good worker.
Yeah.
And he's dating somebody named Kayla Silverfox, also another comic book character.
Has some sort of different name that I can't recall.
I think her name is just Silver Fox. It's like that's her like comic name, and they made her Kayla.
Oh,
They kinda, like,
I see.
Suffed it up.
She's also way more stereotypically Native American in the comic book.
Sure.
So that's dialed back just a tad.
She tells him some legend about the moon and the trickster god and something the Wolverine, and he's like, hey, interesting.
Hey,
So I mean, like,
Wolverine, that name sounds sharp.
it's one of those things like I don't need to know why he calls himself the Wolverine.
Right, and it's also
Yeah.
one of those like stories where you're like, oh, this is gonna be what? No, I like you just get
Yes,
lost in it, so you don't
Yeah.
remember why it was relevant.
Mhm, yes, exactly.
then
And
he-
for a movie that's only an hour and 47 minutes, there is so much shit that you will just forget. You will just flat out, like, that whole thing where he's like, yeah, Wolverine, that'll do. And I'm like, what? Why? Oh, yeah, because of that story from 45 minutes ago?
And the second you see this woman, there is a clock over her head from when she's about to be murdered. It's just like,
Because
When
every
she's about to
scene
get
is
shoved
like
into that
a
fridge.
slow motion like final kiss.
Yeah.
Like he goes to work and she's like, hold on, one more kiss. And then he like goes, off in the truck to like rid Canada of all of its woods.
And it's even
It's a noble profession.
I'm gonna deforest this whole fucking country. It's even worse than that though, because her first appearance in the movie is like Wolverine wakes up from a Wolverine-esque nightmare, which happens quite often.
Sure, you're gonna get the. Oh, this is my favorite line in the whole movie.
I don't know if I remember the line, but I'm just gonna say that she's nude, which implies there was some hot fucking the night before.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, no, he wakes up and goes, "Rah!" And he's got his bone claws out. And she's like, honey, did you dream about the wars again? Which war did you have a nightmare about? He goes, all of them.
It's not
so
possible. Doesn't make sense.
Except for Korea.
which I skipped.
Also,
Who set that one out?
the bone claws in this scene, you can call them boners.
Yes. Well, she
Got
says,
a
I guess
bunch
we're
of
gonna
boners.
guess we're gonna need new sheets again. Which
Yeah,
is
but
like,
that's the thing though. It wasn't from tearing from the previous
Oh,
nightmare.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
just from all the semen and whatnot.
They keep ruining sheets.
Looked like
Oh,
a fucking
yeah.
cheap Vegas motel.
I had a bunch of crazy sex with my girlfriend from Canada.
you would not know her. That's for
Oh
sure.
man, no, you wouldn't know her.
No, no.
Sorry, she couldn't come with me. She had to work this weekend.
Oh, no,
her
she-
boss is a real dick.
She lives in an obscure part of the Canadian Rockies.
Her name is Kayla Silverfox.
Yeah, that'll do. I gotta tell you, this Wolverine pad that he's got, primo, man.
That's it, man.
It is
Just
nice.
just living on a cliff like Wile E. Coyote.
I want to leave. I want to leave society so bad.
This
I
movie
wanna
made me
leave.
want to just fucking leave it all behind, dude.
Why? Like, why are we even doing this?
I mean, I don't want my wife to be brutally murdered in the forest, but
that happens less than you think. That's happened less
true.
than is reported. I will say that.
Yeah. 50-50 shot.
Yes.
but that house is pretty great.
Great house.
So Stryker approaches him at work, which also like it's the Law and Order thing. Like, dude, wait till I get off.
Yeah, don't
I
bother
punch
me at
out in
work.
I punch it out in an hour.
He's chomping on a cigar, and Zero shoots the cigar out of his mouth. All of his boys are around, and nobody responds to it.
Dude,
No
I wanted to
reaction.
see some lumberjack just drop dead.
Oh no, it would be great if all these lumberjacks were in defense of Wolverine and they all attacked them with axes. What a great scene that would be. 10 lumberjacks
Wow,
against
yeah.
Agent Zero.
What would we call them? X-loggers? You got to put X in front of any team.
No, dude, that's when the, fucking
Axemen.
that's
Oh, with a big X
That's
Done.
really
in the
good.
middle. Yeah.
Very big X.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
Lowercase a.
X-loggers is when Hank McCoy ruins the bathroom at Xavier Mansion.
But that's okay because he's also able to eat his lunch today.
Oh, I broke another toilet in the mansion. Great.
Somebody clean my litter box, please.
I'm also the Secretary of Defense or whatever the fuck.
So so Wolverine winds up kind of. Am I right that he's wandering through the woods and he realizes like, oh no, like
Yeah.
Kayla's in trouble.
Yes.
Oh, and then he like parts. Is it him that parts a little bit of shrubbery to reveal a severed Wolverine head? At which point you're kind of like, do you remember what I'm talking about? There's like a severed.
Was it a Wolverine? It's some like dead
Oh, an animal. Oh, I didn't know.
I think it's supposed to be a Wolverine, which I
yeah.
thought was like
Oh.
a terrible choice because nobody knows what a Wolverine actually looks
100%.
like.
I just thought it was a deer.
It was like it was so confusing.
He should have like put it on and then like ran through the woods.
Then it's like your Davy Crockett idea.
Yeah.
So this fast forwarding, this woman's dead. Sabretooth has murdered her.
But let's even fast forward to the end. She's not actually dead. Wolverine has animal senses, can smell fucking anyone farting a mile away.
Right.
And he they give her some compound that makes her heart sort of seem like it's stopping, so maybe you can
God,
hear.
I hate this shit.
And they put a bunch of fake blood on her, but and he's like, "Bah!" And he runs away and goes for vengeance, but he doesn't arrange her burial. I guess he
No
doesn't,
time.
Like,
No time.
Just
dude.
let her
Go.
rot. Let her rot.
And like he leaves her on the side of the road. I
Also,
guess.
Wolverine is like an animal, eats garbage. We've established that. He would have tasted that blood.
Yes.
He would've
Right,
known.
dude. It's the circle of life.
Or
He
you
would have
would've
been like, that's fruit punch, not blood.
Exactly.
Looked for wounds or something.
I
Bunch
just
of
love the
high
notion,
C.
like this woman is in on it with Sabretooth and with
Stryker.
with Stryker and whatnot. I love the idea that it's either this woman or Sabretooth. Someone is carrying fake blood.
I think they show Sabretooth kind of squirt her with
He
blood.
literally just breaks the bag open
Capri-
above her.
the
Oh, I
Capri
totally
Sun
missed
bag.
He just goes. "Psh."
Oh
Okay.
man, the theatricality from Sabretooth.
Oh
I
no,
love it.
god damn it, this is orange juice. I picked the wrong packet.
But part of a prenup has to be like, look, you can. If I am brutally murdered, you can seek out vengeance. In fact, I encourage it. But please bury me and tell my family that I'm dead. Like, don't just run off.
Also, make sure that you're dead.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like stab the body. just
Get
to
a
make
doctor.
sure.
Call an ambulance.
Dude, this, by the way, not for nothing.
Don't go and
Well,
run away.
You gotta scream like a monster.
Yeah, sure.
But
How do you know if he loves her?
That's a good point.
But I totally forgot. Well, I guess it's just a thing where it's like he doesn't want any ties to anything, so it's
Sure.
like see you later kind of a deal.
Does he like use his back, like the back of his feet, to throw dirt on her? I guess at least. At least.
Well, he takes a shit in the woods and he's trying to bury it with his feet. He scrapes dirt all over her. So this woman who's not dead was shat upon and then had dirt thrown all over her face.
Precisely. So yeah, he goes out. He's looking for blood. He finds Sabretooth in a bar. We get the big Sabretooth fight. I kind of like Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth a little bit.
I do too. I will say.
I kind of do.
And I
well.
also like the weird, like him on all fours.
See, I
part.
do too. Sean doesn't like it.
Really?
Well, I like it conceptually. I
Yeah.
don't like it in practice.
Okay.
And I also it's because so many times before this, and I think we just move past that like helicopter scene. So in that moment as well, there's so many moments where people are just like Mario jumping everywhere.
Yeah, that's
like
true,
this
yeah.
movie does not.
that's
Gravity
not-
does not exist in this movie.
Not at all.
It's
And
a
so,
problem.
like, his running is like cool sometimes, but a lot of times it's just him pretending to run and just like being brought over like a fucking game claw across the hallway. It's like it doesn't make sense.
That is a problem because again, like that's not what their power is. Their power
Right.
isn't to Mario jump, so no one should be able to do that.
And everybody's just jumping into a helicopter, like, bring that helicopter by here. They just jump
Well,
20
you know,
feet in the
if
air.
they were like jumping up into random blocks of bricks and shit, and
Yes.
like coins came out, better movie.
yeah. And then so much other stuff's happening that I'm distracted.
So they get into a fight. A bunch of logs fall on Wolverine, and obviously he survives, but he loses to Sabretooth. And like Stryker finds him. I want to see again like a puddle of Wolverine reconstitute itself. Because
Yeah.
if a fucking 30-ton log falls on you, you're not just like, oh, that sucks.
Totally, but the difference is when a bunch of clearly fake prop logs fall.
Oh,
Because
that's-
again, Jesus Christ, this is like a 20th century Fox
Yeah,
major motion
drop a
picture.
real log on Hugh Jackman.
Or just bothered to make these things not shine like the plastic they are. It looks so bad.
you know, I gotta say, a lot of shit looks so bad. I think the fucking adamantium claws look terrible.
terrible. Big time.
Wretched.
There are like 90% CGI in this movie.
How did they get so bad? What I got to go back and watch that first movie. Are
They don't
that-
look as bad earlier because a lot of times they're actual like
they're
props.
real.
Oh man, that's real.
Well, because he's wearing gloves for most of that movie, and like in the gloves,
Yes.
you could just have like knives on there, and that's
Totally.
it. You know,
Yeah.
that's what you want.
Yeah.
They look so bad.
It's so they're like sort of like they look like cool blue colored almost. Like
They're
they're
very-
so awful.
It's a 90s screensaver. I thought a fucking flying toaster was going to go by.
Well, it looks like Bob Hoskins in Roger Rabbit when he gets the singing sword. Like that's
it doesn't look the singing sword.
or Christopher Lloyd with the fucking buzzsaw. Look, it looks like those
Yes.
are that's what we're talking about.
Oh man, it's so bad. So also, there's just a great detail about this. We're so not getting through this movie, but man, oh man, you know what's kind of appealing to me? This like totally off the books Canadian bar that's definitely just in a barn.
Yep.
Love it.
Well, it's just like, hey Barry, you gonna make your barn a bar tonight? Yep.
Yeah, dude, the stools are just logs. It's awesome, and like it's kind of great because like Sabretooth is sitting at the bar having a beer, and like he can smell Wolverine or whatever, and he says to the bartender like, "Do you have insurance?" And the
Yeah.
guy's like, "No,"
Yeah.
and then he's like, "That's unfortunate" or whatever. It's like, of course there's no insurance. It's a bar barn.
There's also a fucking, the cliche line, y'all ain't from around here,
Which
are
why
ya?
does a Canadian have an American Southern drawl?
I also want the deleted scene where Sabretooth is reading Alan Moore's Watchmen while he's putting the smiley face on the bar.
Also, yeah, that dude doesn't complain about that bar vandalism because that bar is just going to be a different bar tomorrow. It's
That's true. And
going to
also,
be set up down at Hugo's barn.
well, also he's got like monster claws. So you're like, eh.
Yeah, don't call out a dude with monster claws. That's a pretty good life hack.
I mean, I just feel like if I saw this version of Sabretooth, like, oh shit, is that a vampire?
Yes.
Yeah, like a vampire that fucking bench presses shit.
He also, like, his claws are different in every scene. Like, sometimes they're dirty, sometimes they're super clean looking, sometimes they're growing, sometimes whatever. And then, like, the way he attacks people is it's just it's a cat scratch.
Just a gentle swipe.
Like, people, like, go flying, but he's just kind of like...
Yeah.
And also, shouldn't he have a tooth? Right? Isn't it saber tooth?
No, just one.
Yeah, why
tooth.
does he have
He's got
two?
little- oh, I see.
Yeah, but
Oh,
like,
saber teeth?
I guess. I
What
mean,
if
I
he
just-
had the long tusks?
doesn't the guy, wasn't there Sabretooth in the earlier films?
Yeah.
Was that guy had like tusks, right? Or
No, he
something?
just kind of vampire
He's
teeth.
got vampire teeth,
Yeah.
which Liev Schreiber has in this movie.
Not enough.
No, yeah, you're totally right.
Make it bigger.
Yeah, no, they should be Draculia length.
Yeah, or like Nosferatu.
Oh, shit, really
Or,
going?
like, just the front two?
yes.
He has little buck teeth. That'd be awesome.
Oh, Wolverine, I see you've come here.
Does this bar have insurance? Too bad. So Danny Houston's like, hey man, how about we pump some adamantium into that hot ass bod to move things along, just to stretch.
And he's like, yeah, great idea. It's like, the only way you're going to beat Sabretooth and to avenge your girlfriend, whose murder I had nothing to do with, by the way. I know you saw me the same day of, and it's weird that we haven't seen each other in a long time.
But like, there's this whole thing. Like, why would you even make Wolverine? Wolverine doesn't like you. Why
Yeah.
would you make him even better? And then there's this line when they're like, they finally put the adamantium into his body.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, erase his memory, like he's C-3PO.
Well, I don't understand the whole like weird logic of this plan. It's like, all right, I'm going to orchestrate the murder of his girlfriend to get him on board with the adamantium program, to then only erase his memory or try to murder him, and then just like use the test results to make other weapon people.
Yeah, it's just a very at some point in the movie, some general's like, you spent $500 million on this. I'm like, holy shit.
$500
In like
million.
1980s.
70s.
Yeah, exactly. Dude.
we give the military too much money in the United States.
Absolutely
It
true.
needs to cut it in half.
Yeah, I mean, think about how many Wolverine experiments are going on right now that we don't know about.
Honestly, there are countless. Like, we may be joking around here today, but this is actually happening.
You know, we're having a lot of fun here tonight.
There's so much money in the military budget. You know they're doing
There
weird
have
shit,
to be at
right?
least 10 Weapon X projects
Exactly.
going on right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, just like super soldiers.
Yeah.
The
RoboCops and
X-Files knew
shit.
what was up.
RoboCops.
A lot of RoboCops
They're
too.
out there.
A lot of like stealth fighters nobody
Yeah.
needs.
All have Nosferatu teeth.
Yeah.
A bunch of generals in the room
I
being
get-
like, did you guys see Avengers? Did you guys see X-Men? Why don't we make those?
I'm sure
Exactly.
that's come up in a meeting. I guarantee you.
Why can't we make those?
Could we make an Iron Man?
All right, I'm going to have a lunch and learn this weekend. We're going to watch X-Men Origins Wolverine. And yeah, everybody bring their lunch. Well, we sit around.
Dude,
I'm sorry,
But I
you
really want to have a
That
serious...
movie sucked. I watched it for work at the Pentagon.
So they make him Wolverine. The experiment happens. We
He
all know
somehow
what's going on here.
points off. They don't give him the big dumb stupid helmet until when you get that in X-Men Apocalypse. That like the Weapon X helmet, the thing there that he's wearing.
Yeah.
Huh?
Some people know what I'm talking about.
That's a
I
little-
vaguely
What?
remember what you're talking
It's
about.
like a big dumb helmet that he wears inside the tank with like goggles on it.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
dumb looking, but I love it.
What I love is this dude is naked as a Jaybird.
Holy
man.
shit, man.
It's awesome. And you get some fucking...
Wolverine or Stryker?
Oh, man.
Well, it's only fair if I'm naked too. I'm nude, Wolverine! There are no clothes for you that way, Wolverine!
Fat Brian Cox naked,
Yes!
swimming in Alkali Lake. A little
People
skinny...
find pants. People lose them.
But dude, this is some fucking grade A Hugh Jackman IRL ass cheek in this
Absolutely.
movie. It's great.
Both of them.
Both cheeks.
I guarantee you some CGI artist had to do some side cock digital painting out of the frame.
I guarantee that thing was flip flopping all over the place.
Do you think they bulked up the butt at all, or no? You think it's natural?
Dude, that's some Hugh butt right there, man. That's not Logan. That's Hugh. There is no Logan, only Hugh.
But whenever he's in the backside, that's just the actor. Yeah, he's not playing a character in
Yeah, he
that
does.
shot.
There's other stuntmen, but not for that shit.
I think that's
Hugh
why all
Jackman
that
does that for real.
that smokestack shit at the end of the movie looks so terrible because they had to spend so much money erasing his cock from this one scene.
So he runs out.
Yeah, he kind of fugitive jumps.
It's a total fugitive jump. I did not kill my girlfriend.
And he winds up with Heather Hudson, who's another Marvel character of Alpha Flight fame, not quite as old as always.
Which one was this?
What is her name in Alpha Flight?
I want to say Vindicator, maybe.
Okay, because I was
That's a
again,
Star Destroyer, man.
I'm reading some 2016 Captain Marvel, and she's farting around with Alpha Flight, but I did not recall that character there. I like the guy who's even tinier than Wolverine, whatever his name is.
I love that old man.
He's pretty cute.
I think it's Travis.
He's pretty great. There's also that dude Sasquatch on Alpha Flight.
Sure.
He just
Everybody had a big guy.
You're talking about Puck, the little tiny dude.
Puck's the little tiny guy, which is great. Then there's Sasquatch, which is just a ripoff of Chewbacca.
I mean, I feel like I could be Puck.
Puck for Halloween?
No, Puck. Like if there was an Alpha Flight movie, I could be Puck.
Yeah, I mean, because they would just like give you that fucking Vinnie Jones bulk suit. You'd have to grow a goatee and you'd
shave
be
my
in
head.
business.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'd have to practice a Quebecois accent, which is very difficult.
Absolutely. So he's on the run now. He nudely runs into a barn. It's the classic, like an old couple notices, "Oh, mother, I think there's a naked man in the barn." All that stuff happens. It's like much like Frankenstein, like we're nursing him back to health for a night.
And they're like, oh, you could wear our son's old clothes. He was a bodybuilder. Like,
what? They all are so perfectly tailored.
Exactly.
We also, it's like, I think anyway.
Or that he was like usually fat, but like, you know what I mean? It kind of worked out.
Fat in all the right places.
I think it's insinuated that this gentleman was killed in Vietnam is the idea.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, really saying something here. So then it's kind of great because this dude's like, yes, of course you can spend the night here in the barn like a fucking animal.
Because you can't break anything because he breaks their
He's
bathroom.
been destroying everything.
Oh,
Which
dude.
doesn't make any sense. Like he's like, what metal claws? I'm only used to bone claws. Like, what are you talking about? It's the same fucking shit.
It's awesome though, man. He destroys a fucking rack and a sink. He just swipes through that sink.
Dude, you know,
This is when the claws look the absolute worst. This is the nadir of how claws
it's
ever
like
look.
close up.
It's insane because this is the reveal of the claws. This is what you spend your money on.
Not when you got to erase that dong, dude. There is only so much Murdoch money to go
Spend everything
around.
on the dog removal.
Wait, how much does it take to get rid of his willy? That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's worth it.
I don't want anyone thinking I'm gay. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
What? I don't know. It's Rupert Murdoch being homophobic.
I thought that was your Hugh Jackman
Oh,
impression.
No.
Sorry.
So it's like they have a nice dinner the next morning.
Sleep in the barn. Yeah, sleeping in the barn's pretty.
Sleep in a barn like the dog you are, dude. And then the next morning, it's like, you know what, Wolverine, you've really changed our lives because pow, and this old woman gets assassinated.
Well, not before the origin of Wolverine's leather jacket.
Oh, right.
Like the fucking Fonz out of nowhere. He's like, my son also had this really cool leather jacket. You want to try it on?
Look, he's dead. You can have all of his belongings. We're trying to erase him from our memory entirely.
We got
Would
this.
you like some of these cooking?
And these two old people are murdered.
This is why you never pick up a hitchhiker, because A, they might kill you, or B, you might be embroiled in their government cover-up.
Which is what fucking kind of happens in Logan when Eric LaSalle and his beautiful family take in fucking Daphne Keene and Logan and Professor X, and then they're all brutally murdered.
Thanks, guys, for the Logan spoilers.
Oh, that's only in the color version, though. In the noir version, it totally happens there.
But no, I mean, that's like the curse of Wolverine, though. Anyone he touches,
Right.
gets murdered by somebody.
Again, a better movie than the movie we're watching
Oh, for
would be
sure.
like just kind of like vagabond Wolverine kind of getting brought in by, and then he's just like, no, you don't want to invite me to stay in here, and then people are getting murdered.
It's like First Blood, but it's Wolverine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just him going from town to town. You know, he's
so
like burnt
easy.
out. He's burnt out from the wars. That was actually something that Gavin Hood wanted to put in this movie was PTSD, but Fox said no do on that.
They don't believe in it. They don't believe in it.
Can't acknowledge that that's a thing. And it's awesome because these old people die what I like to call a double death. Because one, they're shot to death. It's Agent Zero here.
You've selected Agent Zero.
Why don't you just tell me the name of the mutant you want to be? So then, like, Wolverine runs out on the motorcycle just as this dude tells the helicopter pilot to launch these missiles at this barn. So it's like, you were shot to death and then crispy critters.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
That's great.
Oh, man.
Well, at least Wolverine got all your son's belongings beforehand.
And at least they died just like their son.
He pulled...
Probably.
Well, they were NPCs anyway, dude.
Yeah.
If they survived and he went back there, he'd just be like, would you like my son's leather jacket? Would you like my son's leather jacket? Perhaps go to the village to continue.
You know, there's a lot of things I'm hearing about that Alkali Lake. Why don't you go up to Alkali Lake?
And so the whole thing is like Wolverine thinks that Sabretooth is behind this whole thing. So he's like on the hunt to find Sabretooth, not knowing that Danny Huston's the puppet master.
Well, no, now he sort of starts to piece it together because Agent Zero, he fights Agent Zero, and Danny Huston's like, "Is Wolverine dead? Did you kill the Logan?"
Oh, right. He hears it on the radio.
Yeah.
Also, great Wolverine murdering people is like there's a gas leak, and he takes out his little claw and like scrapes some rocks, and then Agent Zero blows up after being in a helicopter crash. Kind of a double death for that guy, too.
Lots of double deaths.
I love it.
We go to Vegas. This is where he meets up with John Wraith, who is hanging out with the Blob, and we need to talk about the Blob for at least 30 minutes.
It's kind of awesome because, so what's the Blob's name?
Fred Dukes.
And, so like, Will.i.am is like, I don't know, maybe like, Fred.
Terrible in this movie?
Yes, he is. He's like, maybe Fred knows where he is. And Wolverine's like, all right, where's Dukes? And he's like, oh, he's out here in this boxing gym that I own. And he's like, no, you got to be careful, though. Ever since the team fell apart, it kind of hit him pretty hard. And it's like, so this dude just ate so much that now he's just obese.
But also, like, he's like, oh, man, I really miss the guys. Chomp,
I miss my murder squad. And, like, you see him in this movie, he's, like, boxing some kind of middle-aged dude, and he's, like, boxing with one hand, and he's got, like, a slushie in the other hand.
I mean, it's a fat bastard outfit. It's exactly the fat bastard outfit.
Totally.
They paid money
Get
for it.
used to have it.
Oh, man, it smells like Mike Myers.
Well, they had to
Ew.
fucking get it out of whatever planet Hollywood it was sitting in. Can you imagine eating next to that?
Oh, wait, the kilt is... Why is the kilt sewn on to the outfit? That doesn't make any sense.
Why is there a fake dick under the kilt?
What I hate about this sequence, and I also hate about the Gambit sequence coming up, is it's just another one of these things like Wolverine has to fight this mutant, go punch, 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 oh, we're fighting. And then it's just like, why don't we be friends instead?
Yes.
Yep.
And each fucking
get
time
that
this
information,
happens, it's fucking pointless.
Yeah.
Well, it's just for fan. Like, this is the problem with the movie. There's not enough Wolverine in this movie. There's a lot of like, and let's introduce more X-Men characters. No. This is the Wolverine movie where Wolverine does it.
Well, and I don't understand. Like, are people not sick of watching people fucking fighting in these movies? Can we just not have fight sequences in superhero movies because it's so
Or at least
boring?
I agree with you.
You get three. You know what I mean? Like the big one in the beginning, the middle one, and then the end one.
Clearly don't pay attention. Like, there's not. If somebody in the audience is like, "Did you see that fucking uppercut?" Like, nobody's counting. Nobody's paying attention.
No one ever talks about those parts.
This part of the movie is kind of the greatest example for that because, like, he fights the Blob and he's like, where the fuck?
And some guy with a Blob tattoo in the first row is jerking off. Like, finally, he's here.
Yeah.
Sir,
Also,
could
it's
you
really
leave
stupid
the
because
theater?
he had like a skinny woman
Oh,
tattoo,
right.
and now because he's larger, the tattoo is now an obese lady.
Yeah, I don't know how
And I'm
that
like,
works.
okay, weep wop, it's a cartoon world.
Yeah.
But this is your favorite line in the movie, right, Sean?
Oh, this is where Sean cheered in the theaters.
This is when I walked out.
Well, no, this is what you for years have been talking about, which is when he's like, "Hey, bub, could you give me that information?" And Fred Dukes, for no reason, is like, "Did you just call me Blob?" And it's like, "No, he didn't."
Well,
and that's like
how he got his name.
But
That
it
is how
also
the Blob
seems-
got his name.
It seems like there is a history of him being called Blob, though, because when he says, "Did you just say Blob?"
oh, he's doing a Ted Levine in this.
Big
Am I a
time.
great big fat person?
Yes, you are. But then, like, they cut to Will.i.am, and he kind of shakes his head like, "Oh, somebody did it again." Like, it wasn't the first time someone called him Blob.
Yeah, and 20 seconds later, he's like, "You shouldn't have called him Blob." He's like, "I said Bub." And they both look at the audience and they go, "Get it? You fucking get it."
And then he's like, "Well, you're gonna, yep. Hey, Mario, she's in the other castle. You got to see Gambit now."
But this is what I'm talking about.
That's exactly what it is.
He fucking fights Blob for that information, and it's not even 5 minutes before he's fighting Gambit for more information.
And he's like threatening to kill all. He's like, "If you're lying to me about this island, then I'll come back here. I'll cut your fucking head off."
Okay.
And you're like, "Why? You guys are all kind of friends."
You know what better movie is? It's all lies. He gets there, there's nothing there, and he goes back and actually cuts these mutants' heads off.
Yes.
It's just a fucking
He's-
weird,
it's
pointless
called-
movie.
It's called X-Men Origins Wolverine : Gaslight.
Yeah.
Or the to-do list. And he's just crossing names off of a legal pad.
So he's like, "Yeah, man, the only mutant that ever escaped from the island's name of Gambit. Hey, fat kid in the front, you excited? You're gonna see Gambit."
Oh, no, I just saw that other one coming and sit back down from going to the concession stand. Let me say it again. Gambit's coming. You kids ready for Gambit?
It's 70 minutes in, but Gambit's coming. Don't worry. Stay seated.
I love my movies having a call and response and direct address.
Exactly.
There's also there's a moment when Wolverine says like, "Look how fat he is. He's got a front ass hanging out of the front of his shirt."
Yeah.
Which is such an obscure.
I kind of laughed.
It's not humor for this movie, really.
I mean, yeah.
No, and that's because this movie is quite humorless. I
Yes.
think there are honestly more jokes in Logan that land.
Yeah, they do.
But this, I don't know. I laughed because I think it's like you can't say fupa in a movie. You have people coming out the theater being like, "What the fuck was that thing he said?"
Oh, great. Now we got to digitally remove Fupa from this movie. I'm losing so much money. Rupert Murdoch. No, I'm not going to reshoot the scene. Just digitally change his mouth.
Oh man! So we go to New Orleans. There is Gambit. He's played by what's
David Koresh.
Taylor Kitsch, David Koresh, Tim Riggins. And this is the thing is like Taylor Kitsch got a lot of shit. Taylor Kitsch, a Canadian, by the way, with like a fucking legit Canadian accent.
Sure.
Was filming Friday Night Lights at the time that this movie was going on. And Friday Night Lights, and also was playing David Koresh. He's got like a pretty okay like Texas
Southern,
accent. And so like the thing to kind of defend Taylor Kitsch here, because I think like this dude's just gotten like a fucking bad deal in Hollywood. That fucking John Carter from Mars movie that everyone hated, and it's actually like kind of Battleship, which rightfully everybody hated.
And then he was in the really bad second season of
True
True
Detective.
Detective.
Yeah, that's right. This guy, oh man, this guy's got a raw deal.
It sucks
I think
because
he's
like
cursed.
he might be cursed. I mean, well, I think the Koresh was a comeback because he's really great on Friday Night Lights, but he was filming this concurrently with Friday Night Lights. And it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because a Cajun accent is a super hard thing to do legitimately.
Yeah.
And more often than not, see the fucking Fox cartoon with Gambit in it. It goes cartoonish. Yeah. So like you either do what he's doing, which is like a slightly adjusted Tim Riggins voice,
Sure.
or you're doing a cartoon where you're fucking verping gumbo every other word.
Let's go cartoon.
Yeah,
This is a cartoon character.
But dude, it would have been a thing where it's like, that's not for this movie. Look how cartoonish it is. It's silly. This is a
We
serious
just fought a
Wolverine
blob.
I actually don't. The accent is none. I don't even care. Like literally,
Yeah.
and I'm a huge Gambit fan. Like it's fine one way or another. The way his performance is fine, but everything about this character sucks.
It makes no sense to use such a massive X-Men character as just like a Deus Ex helicopter pilot.
I guess the idea is we introduce him in this one,
Right.
Whether,
Next time, baby.
but also like what do they? So this is 1979. If you put Gambit in those new movies, he's got to be 55 years old.
Exactly, which is a problem.
Yeah,
Especially since he's sleeping with Anna Paquin.
Oh my god.
Oh, right. Now, talk about an age gap love.
But yeah, so it's Gambit, and he's doing really stupid computer card tricks. Like, you don't get a guy in there that knows how to do card tricks.
Again, gravity.
Yeah,
Just like abide by it.
And also because like it doesn't make any sense when you see him put the kinetic energy into things, they turn purple and cards go flying. This is like they're just flying through the air with no purple outline around them. So like it's not him using his power. It's him doing impossible card tricks.
It's not specific. Nothing about this character is specific. Later, he uses his staff, and he's like using it to fly somehow. Like he uses a helicopter.
That's not a thing?
No.
Okay.
Why would that be a thing?
It's a
Why
man that can
wouldn't
put
it be?
energy into objects. Dude.
Sure.
I
What
don't
they
know.
should have done, like for just shots of his hands doing card tricks and stuff, they should just gotten Ricky Jay
Yes.
to play Gambit.
It's like,
when
oh
he's
man, did you see
performing.
Gambit's sausage fingers in that movie?
And then they cut back, and it's like this hunky dude.
Totally.
And then there's just one scene they accidentally, and it's just Ricky Jay.
He's
in
fat beard.
Yeah, no, and it's him in the '90s cartoon outfit with like the weird side mask and the big trench
That
coat.
side mask was pretty stupid.
It was
I
stupid.
gotta say.
I thought it was super cool.
It's like a
I
thing that
missed it. I wanted it in here.
Yeah, I
I
wanted
just
the
wanted
side
it.
mask.
I don't care.
It's a thing that you wear when you have to be outside snow blowing in the cold and like you're covering most of your head.
Hey Logan, it's pretty cold in here. Watch this card trick. You want to throw this card trick at a watermelon? Yeah, actually, the only way I'm going to speak is if David Mamet writes it.
What an odd turn for this screenplay.
I want an actual somebody Photoshop Ricky Jay in a Gambit outfit. Figure it out.
You folks out there can do it. We know you can.
So he's like
Gambit fight.
And again, all he's like, hey man, I just want to talk to you about this one thing. And like he's trying not to fight him, but then of course it does. And this movie especially, I agree with you, Sean. Like you can do that maybe once in a movie where there's a misunderstanding and two heroes fight each other and then they turn out to like each other. You can't do that 5 fucking times in a row.
Totally.
Also, this fire escape, dear God.
Oh, where Wolverine's like clawing the fire escape?
This fire. So Gambit's going up a fire escape, and Wolverine destroys the entire fire escape. One like ladder,
He
like
shreds
bridge,
it like a tossed salad.
It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Physics has to exist for this movie to make any sense.
And
or to
you're
be,
also-
have any stakes.
You're telling me his bones are under there? Like I know that now it's got a metal coating, but that's like punching shit with your teeth.
That would hurt, right? They'll be like, oh.
Like think about not even this scene, but go back to the bone claws. Dear God.
That's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
And there's never any mention of that. And in the first movie, I think it is, somebody asks him, like, oh, does that hurt?
Yeah.
And he says, every time, which is a fucking cool line.
It's a comic book line. That's like directly
it?
from the comics.
Totally not acknowledged here whatsoever. And it should especially be the case for the fucking bones. If you're just poking yourself with toothpicks on your hand,
And he's
come
like,
on. Owie, 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 owie.
Yeah.
Gambit, I don't even know what the fuck he's doing. He's got this stick. Wolverine cuts it in half, and he's like plunging it into the side of a building using it.
sure.
Like the flying fuck are we talking about?
I don't even know. Dude, there
The
are so many
characters-
people crawling around like Spider-Man.
The character's really specific powers, right? Like that's what I liked about those Bryan
Read
Singer
a
X-Men
fucking comic
movies. They do use,
I was going to say read a fucking comic book,
yeah,
right?
but like
Because they also misunderstand Deadpool coming up.
They do, like, but like that awesome Nightcrawler scene is exactly like I know what this character's powers are.
Absolutely.
This is an exciting set piece with this, like Quicksilver in those later movies too. Like this is a fun way to show you what this power is.
Well, because there's like an intention to a scene.
Yes,
Like in a real movie,
yeah.
there's like, oh, well, this scene's about this thing. Let's figure out a really interesting way to do it.
He
In
throws
this
in one
movie, it's
card.
like, okay, you guys fight and he wins. Okay, next scene, you guys fight and he wins. Okay, next scene. It's just like,
And it's such a tease too, because like, yes, when the fight starts, they're like sitting at a table. There's a card game, because of course there is.
Daniel Negreanu is there, poker star. Ew.
Oh God, only you.
Yeah, I know.
But like you see that card charge up, and I was like, sick.
Yeah.
Here we go. And that's the one thing that's the character.
Yep.
And then, like, he kind of like card shoots him through a wall, and it's pretty sweet. But then that's the end of it.
You kids may want to stick around. There's a professional poker player coming up. He's got a cameo in the movie.
It's the Blob. He's like, you got Gambit coming up, and for you dads out there, Daniel Negreanu's going to be there.
You might want to
for him. He's the one wearing sunglasses.
might want to refill your popcorn now. Get back in your seats for Daniel Negreanu.
So the Blob is a little fucking paper clip.
Yeah, always
In
clipping.
Microsoft
Oh,
Word.
totally.
And Cyclops is coming. I don't know why, but he is.
I'm kind of okay with this part.
Yeah.
It's
By
like,
the way, Will.i.am does get a fatality, which is great.
oh yeah, it's a total fatality due to fucking spine rip.
Yeah,
Woohoo.
yeah. Sabretooth just kind of goes in there and gets him.
It's kind of an interesting because like he grabs him right when he's trying to teleport, and like
Well, he's avenging the Blob, by the way. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's like,
whatever.
you killed the Blob. That's my best friend.
oh, it was the Blob murdered.
Because he's like, yeah, the Dukes told me you'd be here, and I killed him, or
Oh,
something. And he's
I
like,
just
you
totally-
son of a bitch.
The Blob gets murdered off screen.
Dude,
That's
that
the one murder I want to see.
I think he also killed Wade Wilson off screen because when he goes after the
Right.
Carney, he says he's like, "Oh, Wade's gone."
Oh, that's right.
A lot of interesting stuff happening off screen.
But dude, yeah, exactly
But I
right,
live on
Sean.
to let you know that Cyclops and Emma Frost are coming up, guys.
I just really need to see the Blob murdered on camera.
And a very special a cameo by one of your favorite, most important X-Men in a younger form. You guessed who that is. I'm going to the bathroom.
Hey, by the way, when you're looking out for Cyclops and Emma Frost, I think there's a little lip licking from a younger Toad. Stay tuned, y'all.
And then he goes to the bathroom and the mic's still on. And we just hear everything go, "Oh no, they got a little shit on that. I washed my hands real good."
Oh, killed them all, of course. It's the Blob taking his shit. Oh man.
So, we go on. Cyclops gets abducted. It's like a high school scene.
This is a really stupid thing because like Sabretooth goes to steal him with Danny Hughes or kidnap him. And like Cyclops's eyes go off and
Yeah.
he shoots through the school and whatnot. And like there is not a single soul in this school building.
Yeah.
Why is it just
But
Cyclops?
there are
and-
because he was just in class,
But
right?
that's
like,
what-
it's
yeah.
all continuous.
It doesn't make any sense. Like nobody's running out like, hey, the fucking building is falling
No,
apart.
there's a chemistry class that is ashes. Like, you know what I mean?
Because it goes like all the way through the school, like up to like the second level and everything, and you're like, all right, so who's dead?
So, he kidnaps him, and you realize very quickly that Stryker is collecting these mutants, and now the whole story of this movie is about this island that we've never even thought about until we kind of get elusive references to it.
3 Mile Island, real place.
And yes, it is. That's where Gambit escaped, and Gambit has a fucking biplane that he's fucking flying him around, and Wolverine's afraid of flying. Since when? This guy's in helicopters the entire movie. He goes from scene to scene in helicopters.
That's actually true, dude. You need him in Nam like vomiting in a bag.
He's like, homina, 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 I don't like helicopters or planes. Like, the fuck are you talking about? Also, you're immortal. Get out of town.
Maybe he's cool with helicopters, dude. It's just like seaplanes like that he's got a problem with.
Or it's a thing we always talk about. You know, you don't want to be in a plane with a pilot who you know. Like, you know, you want a commercial pilot.
Yes,
Sure,
I want
yeah.
a dude who is ex-military, you know, and he's just a friendly person flying a plane.
That's some greasy Cajun.
Exactly. So Gambit flies him there, but it's a weird, like, he refuses to land on it, so Wolverine's got to do a fucking tuck and roll. Kind of entertaining to watch this little Wolverine cartoon splash over the water.
And now we have the parlor scene where he finds Danny Huston, and Danny Huston's like, "Oh no, but Silverfox is alive," and she's like, "Yes, I was in on it the whole time." And she also has, by the way, tactile hypnosis.
yeah.
It means she could touch you and make you do what you want.
And also, like, give you, like, feelings and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we see, and it's kind of like if anybody is paying attention to this movie.
Yes.
Like, way back at the beginning, there's a thing where, like, there's two dudes on a road and they're, like, blocking the road with their cars and Wolverine's, like, honking the horn and shit. And he gets out to, like, fuck this dude up. And she comes out and puts her hand on his shoulder and is like, hey, could you please move your car? And, like, without saying anything, this dude, like, walks away. And I was like, oh, she's a mutant.
Right.
I didn't even think that. I just thought it was like to show that Wolverine's an animal. Like, well, Wolverine's about to kill him, and she's
Right.
like, no, guys, let's just relax. And
Like
he's like,
she pointedly like touches his shoulder though, and then he says like, how did you do that? And she's like, oh, it's just my feminine powers of persuasion. And I was like, no, you're probably a mutant that I don't know. I don't have a T-shirt of you.
Hey, Silverfox got mutant powers, guys. You might want to stick in your sheets for that.
He's just not giving it his all.
All right, hey guys, go to the bathroom now. In a few minutes, Weapon 11 coming up. Stay tuned.
I like the idea of like having like a DJ for a movie.
Yeah, totally. Especially a shitty movie like this. Like, yeah, why not?
Oh yeah,
I guess Elvira kind of does that.
Right? Yeah.
Hey, you guys thought you weren't going to see Deadpool in this movie? Well, you kind of are, and you kind of aren't. Find out, you'll be morbidly not okay with it.
So yeah, we're gonna kill everybody. We've got another saber-toothed Wolverine fight going on.
Too much. It's like there's
The
just
fourth
like
of their fights.
Yeah, his girlfriend's crying, even though it was a fix, and Danny Houston is crying, and like and Deadpool or Wade Wilson is like going under surgery, and now look, there's 15 new X-Men that we have to see in cages.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, why? What is this?
When they show that shot of like the little X-Men prison or the mutant prison, that is one of those like for the fans X-Men moments. It's also like when in Last Stand when Magneto has that like secret resistance meeting or whatever. It's like they go by all these X-Men who I will never know.
If you screen cap it, you can name
And
each
there's
one of
somebody who's like, there's fucking this person,
Yeah.
there's that person, there's the lame person I have as my tattoo.
them. Well, it's always in these X-Men movies specifically, and this is kind of a different. Like now in the Avengers movies, it's all about like we will only set up characters that we will actually make properties of.
Right.
And this is like for the fan. It's like, oh, cool. I remember in this X-Men 2, they have like people's names on a computer screen. You go, ooh, that's a name on a computer screen.
Right, including like fucking Hank McCoy. I had
Yeah.
to wait till that shitty third movie to get some Beast.
Or in this movie, it's like, oh, that's a red-haired kid who's got a thing on his mouth. That must mean he's probably Banshee. We'll never see that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like that's kind of the level we're playing with. Like, oh, that's a brown-haired kid who's sad. That's probably that sad guy.
But
like, I don't
honestly,
know.
though, I
My
feel
favorite
like
X-Men.
it's weird
I
because
have
like
superpowers.
cinematically it doesn't really read, but at the same time it reads more like a comic
Yes.
than those Avengers movies do. Like I just read through like Civil War 2 and there's so many people that just like drop into that movie or
Sure.
that story and drop back out.
Yeah, sure.
Like which you can do with comic books obviously. And like I feel like with this scene it's sort of like more true to that shit.
Well, because they're more careful with them in the Avengers movies, because like literally each one of those characters is $1 billion, and because it's a continuous universe,
Yeah.
you don't want to fuck it up. That's why like that Shield show will have nobody on it, because like we need to introduce, if we're gonna do whatever Captain Marvel, we're only gonna do it right, and it's only gonna be by one of the biggest stars in the country.
Right. And I think that's why they've collectively given up on another Ghost Rider movie because they put Ghost Rider on that fucking
Yeah.
show.
Anytime oh man, he's on the Shield.
Like
show.
I saw a commercial for it and like it's Ghost Rider and I was like, oh well, they've given up. They've given up on another cinematic go round with Ghost Rider.
So he fights Sabretooth one more time. I don't even know how this ends. He kind of beats him and he walks away. And it's revealed at this point that Danny Houston tried some tests and he realized that Sabretooth wouldn't survive the surgery, so won't give it to him.
Right, yeah, he's pissed off because he doesn't give him like the adamantium surgery. And I think the fight is kind of just broken up by Danny Houston being like, activate Weapon X.
Yeah, or Weapon
Or
11.
11, excuse me. So then here comes Wade Wilson.
There is a really dumb line in during the adamantium scene where he's like, we'll call him Weapon X. And somebody's like, Weapon X? Is like, X for Roman numeral 10. It's like, dude, are you fucking serious?
Just trying to keep everybody on the. We're just trying to keep you all on the same page.
Everybody's, hey, look, it's sometimes the movie's going to hold your hand, sometimes it's not.
Sometimes we introduce Roman numerals when you least expect it. Don't want nobody out there to be confused.
So now we have this Deadpool thing that some of this is apparently Scott Adkins, the action
ninja
star.
Is he a ninja?
Wait, he's in Ninja 2.
He's a ninja in Ninja 2.
Oh, I thought he was
which
a
recent.
professional ninja.
No, he's a professional stuntman.
He's also in Hard Target too.
Oh, okay.
He's got some acting credits.
He's doing like all the more insane Weapon 11 moves.
And he looks like Baraka. It's
fucking awful.
What the fuck were they thinking with this?
So-
And again, this is something that they would never do in those Avengers movies because they'd be like, we want a Deadpool movie. We won't have
Right.
this bastardized bullshit version of Deadpool. We'll either make it something else or do something else, which is the better idea.
But then
Right.
Fox eventually, I guess, did that with
Yes.
these new movies.
So they sewed his mouth shut for some reason.
Well, because at the beginning of the movie, when they're going on like the hunt for the blood diamonds and whatnot, or the hunt for the adamantium, Danny Huston has a line where he's like, "You're great at what you do, Wilson. Now, if only you could do it with your mouth shut," or something like that. Or like if your mouth was shut, you'd be the perfect soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you pay attention, and now his mouth no longer works. Sometimes this movie will hold your hand.
So, are you wondering how he eats? Well, maybe he eats up his butt. Anyway, let's continue.
All right, look, you know what? You wanted to see Deadpool. That's all you're going to get. This is all you're going to get, guys. This
Hey,
is Deadpool for this
hey.
time.
Take it or leave it.
You know, maybe there's like a funnel that goes into his belly button for him to eat. I don't really know.
A deleted scene is where Weapon 11 changes a colostomy bag. Stay tuned.
Have you ever tried to eat with your eyes?
Deadpool has.
A couple of little mouths.
So because we have to wipe this character off the face of the earth in under 10 minutes, Wolverine's like, all right, everybody, get out of here with those kids. I'm going to distract him, and he's going to chase me up this fucking smokestack.
Right. Cue the 15th X-Men movie that we've seen where a bunch of kid mutants go running in a group.
And again, like, this is the Wolverine movie. I don't need a bunch of kids that need to be saved. And also, like,
You're going to get it in Logan.
you're going to
Spoiler.
get... yeah.
And fucking Charles Xavier shows up.
Because
he sure does.
At some point, Cyclops is like, we have to go this way. And like Silverfox is like, wait, why? Hey, by the way, are you even a character? It's like, no, seriously, I'm a character.
I'm actually one of the biggest. Stay tuned.
And he's like, go this way, and you don't know why.
Well,
and,
you're hearing like go left.
yeah,
You got to turn it up, dude. You got to
that.
clean the shit out of your ears.
hey man, you better put the volume up to 25, or else you're gonna miss some really important shit.
Hey, you don't want to miss those whispers. Stay tuned.
So yeah, it is Telly Savalas fucking Patrick Stewart.
He's got to fucking tell he's about his jacket on.
I just don't understand this tan they give him. They're doing the same thing in Last Stand. It's just like he's always, I was just on vacation.
Well, we do.
I just came from Atlantis.
We talked at length about how the X-Men were constantly going to the beach.
That's true.
He was on vacation.
Oh, right,
They're
yeah.
on vacation in that fucking first class when he gets shot in the spine.
Catching some rays. Hang 10.
Hey, party dudes.
Do you want to hear something really stupid? Which
Yes.
is
I
somebody.
got drunk on the beach and fell asleep.
If I took my shirt off, somebody wrote in sunscreen "booger" on my chest.
I woke up and a crab was pinching my nipple.
Oh man, I tried to pick up a chick, but I had "booger" written on my chest.
Just another day at the beach.
But no, some X-Men executive was like, "Oh, the reason Xavier is walking in this movie, but actually you know that he was crippled in the 60s is because this is a mental projection, everybody."
Oh, God, shut up.
He does a mental projection in one of those other movies.
It's
though.
horseshit, though. It's because
it's
it's
garbage.
because that other movie wasn't written yet, and you didn't figure out what you wanted to do.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
So he's like, "Everyone get on my plane, goodbye, movie."
It's actually kind of awesome, dude, because it's a helicopter, and I don't think all those kids could fit.
They got to fight it out.
Oh no, that's what happens to Toad. Toad is like, "Oh man, I'm gonna be a good guy. It's gonna be awesome." Oh, reptile boy. No.
Everybody else takes off, and then it's like a tan young Ian McKellen walks out of the woods. So they left you, I see.
I wrote "booger" on his chest at the beach. It was a sexy prank.
May I remind you, Toad, who I've just met, I was in a concentration camp. Come along, Toad.
You are the booger, Charles, not me.
That's a t-shirt.
Yeah. I don't know. So they're fighting. Then we get the what?
No, I was going to talk about the fight. This sick fight.
The reprise of back to back.
Back.
It's so stupid.
Because I guess it's like, oh, you actually didn't murder my girlfriend, but you actually killed most of my real friends. Like,
Yeah.
he's killed his whole fucking team.
Like, why are they even teaming up again now to
But
fight
bro,
this
back to
Deadpool
back.
monster?
Back to back.
One, because back to back, but two, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Oh,
so in this
okay.
instance, it's like, all right, let's
right.
kill this motherfucker and then we'll handle our shit later.
There's also like historic military strategies, right?
About
like
back
the
to back?
the failings, and then there's the like the
Flank.
red coats
Straight
marched
this
in
way,
line,
uh-huh.
and Wolverine and Sabretooth did back to back.
Right.
Hannibal in the Alps and back to back.
And the Riker maneuver.
Oh, can't forget the Riker maneuver, dude.
And Deadpool is not only, but it's funny because he keeps like only remembering that he could do this stuff like at opportune times. Like first it's just swords through my hand. He looks like Baraka. And then he's like, oh, wait, I can teleport. And he's like, cool, now I'm teleporting.
Well, a thing that makes no sense and it's not consistent at all in this scene is there's like security cameras everywhere, and Danny Huston is typing into a 1970s computer all the moves that Weapon 11's supposed to be doing. And at one point, oh, is it sweet? He just types decapitate.
What is the, how do I do the fatality? Is it back, left? Somebody get the sheet. Get the sheet. Get the game
wait,
pro.
Oh, man, I wrote defecate.
How am I supposed to press up twice? He's in the air for it. That move is impossible.
Fight stops and Deadpool's just taking a shit. Right there.
So he's murdered because, of course, he is almost instantly.
He's got these laser eyes, too.
Because
Remember
he's
Cyclops. He's
chock full
every-
of all these mutant powers.
He's all of them.
Why wouldn't you give him the fucking diamond skin, stupid?
Yeah, well, I guess they
Why
didn't
don't you
get there.
give
They
him
didn't
the
get
blob?
there yet. Yeah. You should have picked up Fred Dukes, dude.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
so,
could be helpful.
Yeah, no, man. I remember that time I punched a cannon.
Too bad I'm here in the bottom of your screen as a ghost.
It's like a ghost mixed with pop-up video.
I have unfinished business.
And that is telling you how good this movie is.
And man, you know what's great is so like he is decapitated by Wolverine, and the corpse fucking falls down this smokestack and is falling in a perfect circle because he is decapitated while the Cyclops power is happening, and you just see this laser in a perfect swirl fall down that smokestack.
I think this solves the question you asked earlier, Eric. Is
Yes.
what happens if that happens to Cyclops? But I think this guy's part robot, so like it's a switch that goes on, and the
Oh.
beams are just happening. Maybe sort of, kind of.
Well, it's weird because he gets, before he uses it for the first time, he gets like weird raccoon eyes and kind of looks even more like Deadpool.
That's like a nod to like the fan who's like, wow, you're ruining my favorite character, but at least he's got raccoon eyes.
Warmer.
So then, like,
Getting
Wolverine,
closer.
Wolverine, like, almost falls off this thing, which wouldn't have mattered anyway, because at the end of this fight, he jumps off of it. But,
Yeah.
like, Sabretooth has the line, like, only I get to kill you, or whatever. The smokestack falls down. They both jump off it. Sabretooth, I guess, just runs away, finds Magneto in the woods somewhere, too.
Oh, welcome back.
Oh, hello there, Sabretooth. May I remind you I was in the Holocaust?
I think you should change your hair to very long and very blonde.
You don't look enough like a professional wrestler for my taste. Getting warmer.
I control the style.
So then Wolverine's like upset because this woman is dead. She's been shot at some point.
Sure.
He's carrying her off into the sunset, and then here comes Danny Huston with an adamantium pistol, or a pistol with adamantium bullets in it. Shoots Wolverine a couple times. Wolverine comes back, gets shot in the head, and somewhere around here, Danny Huston knows if you shoot Wolverine in the brain with an adamantium bullet, it won't kill him, but it will erase that memory.
He says it to some scientist. He's like, no, I'm going to erase his memory with this thing. And she's like, what?
Yeah, this woman's like, what are you, fucking stupid?
And then Blob in the corner goes, "It's true."
It's pretty cool when it happens.
Hey, you know what? Just don't ask too many questions. We're almost done here.
Look, you want to get out of here or what? Look, his memory is erased. The next movie's coming.
So then, like, this woman like grabs Danny Houston's heel and does the mind control and is like, walk till your feet bleed and then walk some more.
Because she's like, I would kill you, but that would make me as bad as you. But like, if
Right.
you're dying and
You're
like
dying.
he's
Take him with you.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
nobody's gonna know.
nobody cares.
Nobody cares. And then like this movie, like Gambit comes back and he's like, "Hey, we got to get out of here." And Wolverine's like, "Thanks, but no thanks." And then the movie ends with this ridiculous like fake computer shot of this woman dead, and Wolverine just kneeling there, and a bunch of fire trucks are pulling up like
Well,
he had
'cause
to
he's
Die
like,
Hard.
I think Gambit even's like, did you know that woman? He's like, no, I didn't. And somewhere someone actually cares, but I don't know who that person would even be.
Oh right,
I
because
can't
then-
even imagine. I can't even imagine a universe where someone would be
We've
affected
just
by it.
washed up at the point where I like this character now.
Yeah.
Like finally his
Yep.
memory's gone. Let's begin. Roll credits.
And it's like, Gambit's like, "Come on, we gotta get out of here." And he's like, "Who are you?" And
Yeah.
that whole thing.
Where
And he's like-
am I?
He's like, you know what? Let's save it for another movie. I know I'll be back.
Oh, there's gonna be so much Gambit. I will see you guys later.
Totally. Maybe I'll swing back around to have you in Gambit 3.
Hey, do you guys have Gambit fever yet?
Or spoiler alert, that ain't happening. We're just gonna jerk you all off for 10 years. Yeah, that ain't happening.
We're gonna cast Channing Tatum. It's a total smokescreen. It's not gonna happen.
That Gambit movie with Channing Tatum's just gonna turn into another Step Up sequel. Don't you worry your pretty little noggin.
It'll be set in New Orleans, though. It's pretty cool.
Blob out. And then we have two of the most useless stinger
Holy
scenes
crap.
in the history of computer or comic book stinger scenes.
No, you were right the first time.
Of computer movie stinger scenes.
The first one is Danny Houston. We do see his feet are bleeding. Like, whew, thank God I saw that.
Yeah.
And then it's some like military police officer arresting him for the murder of this anonymous general in the middle of the movie.
And that's why I thought, though, because when the general has a scene earlier in the movie, whatever this dude's name is.
Yeah, Munson or something.
Yes, Munson, exactly. Like Danny Houston is like, "Oh, thank you for joining me here, General Munson." And he almost like looks at the camera like, "You're welcome."
And Blob is like, yeah, I don't know who that guy is either.
Got me swinging. So I just thought it was like somebody, because then
Yeah.
it's like General Munson. We want to see you about the murder of General Munson, and I was like, "Oh, fuck,
Impact hit.
dude." Yeah, I was like, "Shit, better look up who General Munson is."
Munson begins.
My
I guess.
God,
His sons are pretty important.
is that right?
Oh no, Munford. Oh, that's almost a joke.
Oh.
That's almost
Thurman.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thurman Munson.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's who he's
That's
related
cool.
to somehow. I don't know.
It's the 70s.
A dog.
That's his that's his son.
Yeah, it
Plays
was
for
my
the
famous
Yankees.
my famous baseball player's son. Yeah. So then the other one is, I guess, supposed to be Wolverine in Japan. At some.
wait. Ooh, interesting, different cut.
Did you see the cut with Deadpool?
Yeah.
Ooh, tell me all about it. I've never
Well,
seen
you said
it.
I didn't see the.
No, guys, just don't care about this shit.
Well, it's a
Yes.
bullshit. Yours is kind of at least something.
No, it's not.
The one that I saw, and I think it was the one that was in theaters, the one that's on HBO Go now also.
Right, that's also how I saw the film.
Yeah, it's like there's a shot glass. Wolverine takes a shot at a bar. I guess it maybe is more modern times, but you can't really tell because you can't tell when any of this movie takes place.
Sure.
He takes a shot. There's a woman who, asks him, like, "Oh, are you drinking to forget?" And he's like, "I'm drinking to remember."
Interesting.
It's an Asian woman. It doesn't tell you that it's necessarily Japan. I don't know what's going on
Does
here.
that I haven't seen it since like it came out, but does the Wolverine, that violent one that takes
Yeah.
place in Japan, does that hold up at all?
I haven't seen it in a while. It's very forgettable to me.
I only saw it
yeah.
the one time, and it's, from what I remember, it's good until
Yes.
at the end he fights a dude in a robot suit for no reason.
Yeah.
And it's like
Like
kind
it's
of
him
stupid.
fighting the Yakuza for a long time, which is a lot of fun. By
Yeah.
the way, that's the ending of the stinger you just said was the ending of the movie Colossal. And so the one I got was we zoom out on we're back on 3 Mile Island and Deadpool is decapitated and for some reason his mouth is open and his
Whoa.
eyes just open up and he grabs his own head and he
Wait,
just
with what? His decapitated body is crawling over?
and like grabs his head, I think, and then
Okay.
he just goes shh.
Oh no, a shush!
Yeah, shush. The movie's
That
over.
is stupid.
You guys are gonna want to quiet down when Deadpool shushes you.
That's one guy you be quiet for. Man, I mean, that's stupid, but at least it's kind of something.
At least it's like get excited for another movie. Like, who could ever care about Danny Huston getting arrested?
Wait, but Danny Huston was still your first stinger, right?
Yes, yeah. That's the first one, and then all the other cats.
Well, because I think the other thing was because they knew they kind of wanted to do Wolverine in Japan. Because I remember thinking at the time, like, oh, that's also a comic that I remember.
Sure.
Right.
Well, I don't think these are stingers. I think these are stinkers.
Oh, you got that right.
Well done.
Well, and so all the people, I mean, depending on how old you are, but everybody saw this movie who's watching whatever superhero bullshit is coming out right now that everybody cares about.
Sure.
Why are people still excited about those stinger scenes? Like, they're always not good.
Yeah.
Because you just hope that it sets up a thing. Like
But
the
of
one in
course it
Infinity
does.
War
Well,
sets up a thing.
You got to see it. I mean, what else are you going to do? I mean, it's just a minute away.
I can't wait for the studies on people's bladders being destroyed by these stinger scenes. Because I've done serious damage to myself.
Well, dude, you can tell the people in the theater that like had the big soda and can't be bothered. I mean, because when we saw Infinity War, Steve, we commented like there were so many people running out. And it's like, at this point that they're coming. And I think it's like you're trying to run to the bathroom. Like you get the mid-credit run. You get the mid-credit.
And then you get back.
Yeah, you're like, all right, cool. I got that one. It kind of doesn't mean anything. Fine. You race to the toilet, and then you come back before the end of the credits, where like the quote unquote bigger one happens.
But serious bladder trauma. I just walked out of Deadpool 2. I was like, I just can't. I'm sorry, Deadpool, I can't.
Would anybody recommend this movie?
I would not. It's the second worst X-Men movie, I think. The first one being X-Men Last Class. It's just
Stand.
X-Men Last Stand, yes, not the Last Class. But I think it's a little bit better than I remember it in a way.
Yeah.
Like, the first half is like almost a movie, and the second half is pure dog shit.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Andrew and I were talking about this. How it's like it's actually not that bad when you think of all the other terrible superhero movies that exist now.
Yeah.
Like at the time, it was horrible to watch.
Yeah.
And now it's like, it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had a weird reevaluation of this movie. I hadn't seen it since theaters, and
But would you recommend it?
would
though?
I recommend it? I mean, I guess kind of. Like, I think this would qualify for me as a hangover movie.
Oh, no.
Because again, like one of the things is like, hey man, you're taking a nap through a lot of this
Yeah,
movie.
that's
It's totally fine. Like you're conscious enough through like you've ordered like your chicken tenders and your fries, and you're really trying to coat that stomach with grease and whatnot.
Sure.
And then you're like, great. You're kick back, like drinking your vitamin water, and slowly fall asleep towards like the middle of Act 2. And I think if you wake up to credits, it's totally fine. But yeah, I think also like things have kind of gotten so bad, like since this movie came out, and also kind of like while we were having these movies, but like we've had 2 Ghost Rider movies. Sure. We had a Thor 2 that sucked a dog's ass. Like I think this movie's better than Thor: The Dark World,
Probably.
So like
There's stuff-ish.
Also, like it's just I like him playing this character.
Yeah, sure.
No matter the level of quality of him doing it or kind of
It's the worst outing. The second to worst. It's that last stand is wretched.
Yeah, I mean him just crying over Jean Grey and sort of melting at the end of that movie is pretty dumb.
So I would not recommend this.
Thank you, Eric.
And, for reasons cited within podcast, I think.
That is X-Men Origins, Wolverine. If you want more We Hate Movies, check out WHMPodcast.com or find us over on the HeadGum Network. Rate and review the show wherever you get it. We would greatly appreciate it. And also, so Steve Sadak, we are now officially in Summer Blockbuster Extravaganza mode.
We absolutely are, and we're going to open up with, or continue the fun, I think.
Oh, that's the good way to put it.
With Ocean's 12.
Oh.
Ocean's 12. How about that? And I want to quickly say, I'm only going to say one thing about it.
Sure.
We have a Patreon page.
Oh, right.
Patreon.com/We Hate Movies.
That's
and
right.
Our episode for June is
Oh my God.
Jurassic World.
Wow.
Ooh. This movie we talked about today is better than Jurassic World.
I disagree.
I disagree with that as well.
I mean, I don't know if I believe that, but it seems like it seemed right to say at the time.
It was weird how they had that T-Rex with no mouth.
His mouth
It was very
sewn
bizarre.
shut. Want to see how a T-Rex with its mouth sewn shut eats? Bend over and I'll show you. Sean Weiner, thank you for guesting on the show, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
It's always fun.
Yeah,
when you
thanks.
come hang out and talk about, we kind of save you for like the really bad stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah, maybe
the really
rethink
bad
that.
The really bad stuff that you just recommended.
I'm just saying there's never been a We Love Movies episode where
Right.
Sean is
Well,
on.
yeah,
That's
and I said this before we started recording, but actually, I would like to go back in time. I would give back every superhero movie.
Oh,
wow! I would watch
Wow.
them all the way and
Uh-huh.
just have book form. So that's
Like
why it's
even
like
like
this
Batman '89,
all-
everything.
everything.
Wow.
Because you
Well,
got
okay,
it's got to
all right.
hurt. You got to give back stuff that hurts if you want to do that.
Well, yeah.
And I would
what
give
about
it all
TV?
back.
Adam West.
All of it.
It's all gone.
Everything's gone.
All the
Just
cereals
for
and
the, just all the cereals.
Were you talking about like shorts or breakfast food?
shorts specifically. Yeah.
And,
I would
and
give
breakfasts.
it all back, and I guess
Yeah.
that's why I recommend this movie, because it's like it's all gotten so bad that
Yeah.
I guess if you like superhero movies, this one's okay, I guess, but I would give them all back. I'd send them all to sea,
In this-
and I just have them on a bookshelf.
In this Back to the Future world you're creating, can I still have comic book T-shirts? Or would they all evaporate off my body?
no, you can have them. They existed.
Okay,
they
that's
used
true.
to exist.
Sure. Okay.
But
They're not at Target anymore.
That's a good point.
So until next month, where we heist our way across Europe, I'm Andrew Jupin.
Eric Siska.
Steven Sadak.
And Sean Weiner.
Take it easy.
That was a HeadGum podcast.